Yeah, do we look good? That's the real question. Do we look good? Do we not look good? I have no idea. What I
Maybe
do
4K,
know,
maybe not. Don't know.
what I do know is the guy behind us,
Yes.
Mike Odyssey, is looking snazzy as hell as the camera is literally auto-focusing on his face. How are we doing?
It's my show.
It is. That's why we're dark and you're not, because the camera won't focus on us. That's because our camera sucks. All right, guys. Our camera has the worst autofocus in the industry. So,
Because I have the biggest head, so it's like focusing on the biggest head in the room.
I don't know. Have you seen Nate's ego?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
No, I'm
The
talking
more I
about-
talk, the more it'll focus on me.
Yeah.
On me. Anyways, welcome guys to episode 68. Now this is our first ever episode in 4K. Yes, folks. It is.
I
we
think
attempted one and it
did we?
bombed.
Oh, okay.
It didn't go live.
Okay.
So we are in 4K. Now, what I need to ask you guys is, are we actually in 4K? I know you can set the stream to 4K, but I need to know if you have a 4K TV. Yeah, see, like Mike's covering his camera, and now we lighten up.
Yeah, right. Hey.
I was gonna walk up and just tap our faces and see if it would find them.
I mean, yeah.
All right, Mike. Now show yourself again. Let's see if it can handle it. Hey, there we go. That's a little better.
As it slowly darkens.
It's a little better.
Yeah.
Anyway, see, Mike will just watch it and be like, "Oh, hey, it got too dark. I got it, guys." Let the power of the hand. Anyways, we have a great episode for you guys today. It is essentially the Switch Pro podcast. I have some explaining to do, don't I? Before we get to explaining that, this is our first ever episode that we are live streaming in 4K. It's the first ever stream I've been able to pull off in 4K. We figured it out. We didn't know if it was going to work, and it worked. So we are technically streaming in 4K. Whether or not we're in 4K is a matter of my setup over here. We don't know if the cable I'm using right now is delivering a 4K signal. We aren't sure if the cam link I'm using is a 4K cam link. So we might be a 1080p image up-resed in 4K, which is still a 4K stream, but we just technically aren't 4K because our setup isn't delivering 4K to my computer. That's not YouTube's fault or the streaming software's fault. That's my personal setup. Now, do I have all the equipment to do it in 4K? Yes, but I can't confirm it till we're live. The canvas is in 4K, but that doesn't mean anything. I can't confirm it till we're live. We're live, and now, because we're live, the only way for me to confirm it would be to throw the stream up here where Mike's face is. And I can't do that. So basically, if you guys are watching this on a 4K television at home, let us know if we actually look like we're in 4K. Like, if you jump from 1080p to 4K, is there actually a quality difference? If there isn't, well, then our setup isn't working. If there is a major quality difference and you're seeing the pores and the individual hairs on my face or something, then yeah, it's working.
I'm sorry.
It's working. Yeah, 2160 is 4K, guys. For those who don't know, 2160 is 4K. So we are streaming in 4K. We know that for sure. It's whether or not the signal from the camera to my streaming software is 4K. I can't confirm it. It's weird. But yeah, there's no way to confirm it. The camera puts out 4K. 4K 30. So, but anyways, that's neither here nor there. As long as basically what I need to know is, do we look crispier than normal? If we don't, then it's made no difference. If we do look crispier than normal, then this was definitely worth it. And we'll keep doing it every week. Yay, business line internet and super powerful computer that can actually manage encoding in 4K live. Because that's what it takes to do it in 4K. You have to have a pretty powerful computer, and you have to obviously have really fast internet. So, all right. So if everything's going good there, that's all I need to know. Just a little audio and stuff feedback, a little video feedback here. That being said, Eric is here. He's across the table. That's my co-host as always, Mr. Eric Moore.
Hello.
How's it going? Wearing the Nintendo Prime t-shirt, which you can buy in the link down in the description.
Heck yeah.
We also have Mike Odyssey back here. We introduced him as Mario Mike. I don't know. What are you going by these days? I don't even know.
It can't be Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, right?
I have to be Mario Mike for this this week, just because I gotta keep my promise to the viewers that every time I appear on any camera on YouTube this week, it's in a Mario costume.
But didn't you already break that?
Mike, what?
You already broke that technically.
Did I? Well, it
The-
doesn't really count because I was just calling in.
But I mean, you
That-
appeared on camera on YouTube.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It wasn't.
That was direct feed. See, this isn't
like
even
a
direct
real
feed. This is a
program.
TV with a camera
Like a
pointed
real-
at it.
It was like more like a calling. I wasn't calling in as a YouTuber. I was calling in as a viewer, as a Nintendo Prime fan.
Well,
So
I
it
see. I
really-
seem to recall the call-in username said Mike Odyssey,
Nah,
not
nah,
Mike
nah.
Perez.
You're making it up.
I'm
You're
making
making
it
up.
Anyways, how's it going, Mike?
Doing good, man. I'm good. All good.
All right. So this week, and guys, I'm gonna go mess with a few things on the camera quick to try to make it work a little better. There's like one setting I can change on it quick, but before I do that, I want to get the ball rolling with what have you been playing lately. Hopefully, you guys have played something. Otherwise, the ball's not really rolling much. I'm staring at Eric right now. Did you actually play a video game this week?
No.
Now, people are starting to make fun of you in the comments on videos.
I realize
have you read
Yeah,
the
I did.
comments? Like, what's this Eric guy doing? He never plays games. And then someone noticed. Then someone said, "What's this Nate guy doing? He never plays games." I'm like, I do
Yeah.
play games.
Yeah.
I do play games, but
That apparently says that they don't actually watch the freaking podcast then, because they would actually know, holy shit, I have a busy ass job and I don't get a whole lot of time to play games. So that's why I don't play games, is because by the time I get home from work, I'm freaking mentally drained as all hell and just want to go to sleep. So,
but then do you go to sleep? See, this is me calling the bluff a little bit.
No, I
you
don't.
might be tired.
How
many hours you got in that South Park game on your phone?
fucking veg. That's at work.
Oh,
That's at work.
I suppose it's a little hard to bust out a switch
Yeah.
at work.
Yeah.
Whoop!
I'm
working, guys.
That's at
I'm
work.
working.
That's at work.
I'm
Why
working.
I have a little bit of downtime.
I'm playing
there,
Breath of the
but,
Wild. I'm
yeah.
working.
No, I mean, honestly, yes. Okay, fine. I do play my phone games,
At
almost daily.
work.
I mean, when I have,
At work.
some downtime, at work, I will play a couple games here and there.
I'm just
But
razzing you. I'm just,
no, I realize that, but
you're totally fine.
No, I know.
And I know he had a busy weekend this last week because
Yeah.
I texted him to get a little help, but he was busy.
Yeah,
There's baptism and other
yep,
stuff
my
going on.
my nephew's baptism and everything like that. So
But
yeah, no, it's
Okay.
yeah, it is absolutely insane. The little bit of time I have just to kind of
So what
do anything
kind
for
of games
myself.
are you into when it comes to mobile games?
I played mainly I play South Park Throne Destroyer, but
Is that good? Is that any good?
oh, it's
What's
a
it
lot of
about?
fun. It's a card-based game
Mm-hmm.
on the phone. I actually enjoy it quite a bit, but it's. And then what else do I have? That's pretty much all the game I play. To be completely honest,
I've never
That's
really
pretty much it.
outside of when we were big in the
Yeah.
Tap Sports for a
Yeah,
while.
Tap Sports for a
I haven't
while,
seen
yeah.
You really, you
Dude,
really play
I'm
those.
asking because I'm gonna start covering mobile games on our channel too.
Ah.
I've gotten a lot of requests like people don't what's wrong with mobile games? Nobody gives mobile gamers some love. Like, okay,
yeah.
I'll include one or two news input on mobile games as well. So I'm gonna start covering that a little more in the channel because I doing my research. I went on the App Store. Man, there's a lot of really good games and a lot of ports, even from the GameCube. Okay, a lot of RPGs making it to mobile and nobody talks about it. I'm like, wow, this is really really cool.
Well, there you go.
So I mean, it's we gotta cover it.
Yeah.
Super cool.
All right, so I might have figured out something with the autofocus quick. I was just looking at it. So it was still focusing on our faces, or at least Eric's face, because I wasn't sitting down. But it was its primary focus was set to Mike, which made sense because he's dead center. Which, of course, so I set the primary to Eric's face. So hopefully, it keeps us
What the fudge would you do that for?
lighting wise. I don't know. Well, I can't set it to myself.
I don't want to break the damn camera.
I can't set it. Anyways,
Yeah,
Mike,
you gotta set it to
Mike,
the
please
mix
redeem
for-
us. What have you been playing lately?
So I've been playing a couple games lately. Let me see. I turned on my Switch. What game did I go to when I turned on my Switch? I can't remember. I turned it on. I think I played a little bit Animal Crossing. I know. I've been getting sent, from small indie developers. They've been sending me codes because for the past, I would say 3 or 4 news segments, I've included like a little game recommendation at the end of the news, and it's because I have like game codes that are backed up that I haven't spoken about on the channel. So I just decided to add it to the channel at the end, like a recommendation if I like it. If I don't, that's how I brought up the. I was playing that golf game, that cursed golf game that I was playing, and then the Smash Boats one. That's how I got those in the news. I got sent the code for. Are you smarter than a fifth grader game?
Nice.
I think it's coming out this week.
Okay.
So I had to go into that play and be done for a while because it's actually pretty cool. The game is actually pretty fun. You actually go against some computer based fourth graders. Not really. So it's really fun. Play that. I went back to the Breath of the Wild for a little bit.
Nice.
Every time I turn it on, I just go around, like just literally do nothing. Just wander around, climb a mountain, jump from somewhere. Just kind of to keep playing the game a little bit. Play a little bit of Mario, Animal Crossing. This is throughout the week, like just me picking it up and just maybe like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. And I have about 2 or 3 more games that I've been trying to get into when it comes to mobile games on the iPad. So
Nice.
Pretty cool. I went on a like I was talking about earlier. I went on a hunt for mobile games, just to see how the gaming landscape looks when it comes to mobile games. And I found a whole bunch of games by Square Enix. I mean, all the Final Fantasies, Final Fantasy 8, 7, 9. It's all mobile. I think let's see what else. I found a whole bunch of games that are there. Octopath Traveler is on mobile. It's like there's what the heck, all these games that we talk about normally for Nintendo, they're on mobile too. So it was a very enlightening moment for me. And I said, you know what, this is gonna be easy because a lot of these games look very fun. Good recommendations. So
Yeah, check out South Park Phone Destroyer. It's fun.
I'll check it out. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, like I saw some people in the chat mention like, oh, phone games suck, phone games this. Look, man, we're not in the console wars, and that includes phones. That includes any device you can play a video game on. I think it's a little disingenuous to just bash an entire platform because you don't prefer those games. I play games on my phone as well, guys. Am I suddenly a Chad? Is that what it is? Am I a Chad?
Yeah, something like that.
Or am I just a big chode? I don't know. I'm something.
Yeah.
I'm something.
Chungus.
Because I play games on my
Chungus.
phone too. No, I don't play games on my phone more than I play on my Switch or my Xbox or my PC even. But I still play games on my phone. Like, I think we have to understand that there are different markets that require different things. That doesn't make them bad. But yeah, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp on phones is not as good as Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's not even close. But is it nice in a pinch? Yeah, it's not that bad. So I think we just need to pay a little respect to the mobile phone gaming industry. I mean, like literally, we have a guy in the chat named Josh saying, "Get off the mobile game talk, or I'm gone."
Okay, bye.
Yeah, bye, man. We're not in the console wars.
Who said that? Somebody said that on the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're not in the console wars, man. Like, people enjoy games that you don't, and you got to be okay with that.
I'm sorry, but get off your high horse. This is a gaming channel. All games are welcome. PS, PlayStation, Xbox.
Yeah, we've talked about PlayStation,
games,
Xbox, and PC games before too.
Yeah.
I mean, there are games. Trust me, there are games on Xbox and on PlayStation and on Nintendo that started off as mobile games. The franchise.
Yeah, but most people
Like,
make fun of those games and don't play
Yeah.
them.
There's this game called Asphalt. It started. I remember playing Asphalt, which is a racing game, crazy racing game. Okay. I played Asphalt 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on mobile. Okay, and then I think they converted. They made a game for all platforms, and it's one of the top racing games right now on any platform.
Sure.
They have Asphalt Legends and a whole bunch of other games that are really, really cool.
Yeah, like when I tell this beginning segment of every podcast is what have I been playing lately, and if what you've been playing lately is mobile phone games, that's what you've been playing lately. It's going to be it's going to happen.
I mean,
what I love to hear that he spent 10 hours playing, I don't know, the Ninja Turtles game. Sure, it'd be sweet, but he didn't have 10 hours to play. He didn't have even an hour to play. He snuck in some mobile gaming time while he's at work because while you're at work, it's a lot easier to grab your phone, tap a few things, set it down, and let the game kind of play a little bit than it is to hold a Switch in your hand and not get in trouble while you're supposed to be working. Even though it's downtime and you're not going to be able to do anything else, doesn't really matter because obviously it's not good in a professional workspace. That's the space for mobile games. For those who wonder, what's the primary spot for mobile games? It's basically for little time wasters when you don't have enough time to boot up a full game system. That is perfect. So yeah, let's not bash people's preference in games. That being said,
Animal Crossing, Animal Crossing Mobile, it's an amazing game. It's just a different game.
Pocket Camp, yeah.
And Animal Crossing Pocket Edition, it's an amazing game. And believe it or not, it was the Animal Crossing that brought my daughters to play Animal Crossing New Horizons. They were first into the Pocket Edition. I mean, they got their tablets, and it's amazing how they built their entire. It's a camp, it's Pocket Camp. So they built their entire camps like that. All the villagers are there. The experience is the same because you have the same experience. It's just a different game than New Horizons. Of course, New Horizons is on Switch. It's a more elaborate game, a bigger game. But I mean, the experience on gaming on mobile could be good, just as good as it is on basically on any platform. What do you think we're having Xbox and even PlayStation now being giving you the ability to stream your games on your phone? There's a new PlayStation controller now that attaches to your phone, and there's always been an Xbox one and of course a Switch one.
Yeah, the Xbox app. I'll fully admit, I sometimes play my Xbox in bed, but it's down here.
Yeah.
Because you could stream it to your Xbox app on your phone or on a tablet.
Exactly.
I haven't done it on a tablet yet, but I've done it on my phone. And I've literally played Xbox games in my bed before. So it's like mobile gaming is expanding in a big way. And whether you guys like it or not, nobody ever wants to hear this. Mobile phone gaming is significantly larger than anything we talk about.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like Nintendo, we love Nintendo. Obviously, Nintendo podcast. We Xbox, Sony, PC, Steam Deck that comes up a lot in our Discord server. These are all like a drop in a bucket compared to the ocean that is mobile gaming and how big it is.
Yeah.
When people talk about how big gaming is, that includes mobile gaming. Mobile gaming is literally makes things like the PlayStation 5 that sells 100, PlayStation in general sells 100 million units every single generation with 1 billion game installs or purchases. It makes it look like pennies to the dollar compared to mobile gaming. So it's really, really big. It's a really big industry. And yeah, it's not something we regularly cover, but hey, if that's what we've been playing, it's what we've been playing.
Are there some shady games on the phone? Oh,
there's shady games on everything.
There's
shady
Are there
games on
stupid
everything,
games on the phone? Oh, 100%.
Load up the Switch eShop and look at all the shovelware trash.
Oh, yeah.
Like, let's just be honest. The eShop has a lot of shovelware trash, and we all know it. We're not stupid. It's really hard. I mean, that's a criticism of Nintendo to not make a better eShop experience so we could actually have the cream of the crop rise to the top. That being said, what have I been playing lately? Maybe this will make you feel a little better. I've been playing Splatoon 3.
Hey,
there you go. There's a console game. I've been playing it. It's a recent release on Switch. I put in another few hours or another a bit more than a few hours this week. I've been playing it at night a lot. It's as good as Splatoon's ever been. I haven't finished single player yet. I'm about halfway through, and I've played enough multiplayer to get the gist of it. And at this point, I do think this is the best Splatoon's ever been. Just personal opinion. I know this is not like a finalized long term. How does this hold up over time opinion? But right now, this is the best it's ever been, and I am thrilled to be really enjoying Splatoon 3. And I'm probably going to be playing the hell out of it all the way until the next big game comes out that I want to play. And some of you guys might be thinking, oh, Bayonetta 3. Fair. Bayonetta is a very good franchise. But actually, it's Sparks of Hope.
Hell yeah.
Next month, Sparks of Hope. Oh, we'll be doing a launch live stream. And yes, I will be beating that game. Unless it doesn't hold up to my expectations, I will be beating that game. So, yeah, I've been playing a lot of Splatoon 3. And then we'll be, then I'll be moving up. That'll be my next big, what?
I said, of course, it's a Thursday.
What? Oh, the release date?
Yeah.
Why does that matter?
Because I was going to come over and possibly stream with you.
Well, I mean, you could.
I
You're gonna be awake anyways.
Yeah, probably.
You just don't want to drive after.
Pretty much.
I mean, you could just bring your.
I could just stay here.
You could just stay here.
You're actually closer to my work.
I think it's closer to work than where you live. So like, literally, you could just stay here. That
Yeah.
room's clean now.
No, I know.
It's
Yeah.
actually
Right.
clean, Eric.
Right.
Holy crap! You don't have to sleep in a shithole that my kids usually
All right,
leave.
so listen. For those in the right now, there's a mobile chat, mobile game chat thing going on. Look, I'm gonna show you. Let me show you something. Can you
Oh,
see that?
boy. Yes, actually, we can.
Yeah.
What did it say?
It's really light, but Bob Catch. It's even hard for me to read. Bob Catch. Or Catch Bob.
That's my game. I made that game.
Oh, nice.
It's on Android.
What?
All right.
You never told me. All right. Well, I'm
Yeah.
downloading Bob Catch right now. What app store is it on?
It's a really hard play. It's a really hard game to play. Okay, it's comparable to.
Mike
to,
just does everything. He's a professional
Right.
professional singer, and now he's a
Wait.
game maker.
Where the hell?
Bob Catch. Okay, what app store is it on? Amazon?
It's on it's on Amazon. It's on
It's on the Amazon app store. Okay.
on Android.
Yeah. I gotta look at the Amazon app store. Hold on.
But it's a game that I made it, but I made it a little bit too challenging, so people couldn't really. I'm good at it, but people were, it's actually addicting. So I just let
that's
it go because it's.
To get you don't have the Amazon app store, right? To get it, you have to load it off a web browser and install it on your phone. Then you have the app store. Yeah, Google's not going to give it to you. Anyways, sorry. Yeah, no, that's cool. Bob Catch. I'm gonna have to look that one up later. I'll go bootload in the app store and get it going on my phone. Okay, cool. So yeah, moving on. Our big topic of the day is about the Nintendo Switch Pro. It's a really big topic, right, guys? It
Huge.
feels weird talking about it. I've been avoiding the conversation for a month, more than a month, because people are getting frustrated with me about it. And two, honestly, there was nothing new to really talk. It's all speculation, guessing. Oh, even after Tears of the Kingdom came out, suddenly Switch Pro was popping up a bit more because people were speculating that it would release around May 12th. And I sat there and I said, but that's still guesswork. It's still speculation. There's nothing to base it on. It's just, hey, they did it with Twilight Princess. Hey, they did it with Breath of the Wild. So, hey, they might do it this time. Well, there's like 18 Zelda games. 2 examples out of 18 isn't a very big sample size to say they launch hardware with Zelda. Just throwing that out there, that's not that big of a sample size. But we get to talk about it in earnest today because there was new information, verified information. This isn't your Joe Schmo on Twitter saying it's going to happen. This isn't even Takahashi Machizuki from Bloomberg. This isn't even Jeff Grubb. This isn't Emily Rogers, who recently retired. This is not any of the normal batch of people we're getting this information from. We are getting it from a verified NVIDIA employee. It's coming as close to the source as possible. You might say, well, the source is Nintendo. NVIDIA has a 10-year contract with Nintendo. Who knows if it's been extended? We have no idea. And NVIDIA is the technology behind the Switch. The Tegra X1 is made by NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is very heavily involved in helping design everything that has to do with the Nintendo Switch and their next system. And now the reason that they have a 10-year contract, we know, is because NVIDIA publicly announced they have a 10-year contract. And this was many, many years ago. High chance the contract's been expanded, considering the success of the Tegra, and considering if Nintendo wants any form of backwards compatibility, they're going to want to stay within the same hardware line. So it's very highly likely they're sticking with NVIDIA and the ARM CPUs and all that. So here's the thing. A while back, one of the last things we had heard about Switch Pro a long time ago, this goes way back. This is something we've known to be true for a while, had nothing to do with it coming out, had nothing to do with what the specs were, but we found this out through developer, keyword, the developer operating system that the actual devs are using, because they use a different software operating system than we do. Clearly, they're developers. They need access to different tools and different things. It's not like Xbox, where every Xbox Series and every Xbox Series X is a dev kit. Okay, they made that so all their systems are dev kits. You can access the dev mode in the default operating system on Xbox Series. Nintendo didn't do that. That's actually very unusual. Nintendo still does traditional dev kits, which means they have custom operating systems. Now, it's based on the same operating system, but they just have extra features. And that operating system was data mined to discover a line in it referencing the T239. The T239 was an as of yet confirmed to exist chip. We had no idea what it was. It is not the chip currently used in the Nintendo Switch, OLED or Switch Lite version 1 or version 2 of regular Switch. It is not currently used in the current Switch. We had no idea what this chip was. We had speculation. We had supposed leaks from Kopkite, who put out there like, oh, maybe it's based on Ada Lovelace. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's... And by the way, Ada Lovelace, the 4000 series of GPUs, it's probably not based on that. It's more likely based on Ampere. That's the 3000 series line. Anyways, the point is, we didn't really know anything. We just knew that that was referenced in the code, and we didn't know what it meant. Until now. The T239 was mentioned at linux.org on the official forums for the Linux web browser by a verified employee who was talking to other developers, because this is all public, because Linux is an open platform. They don't hide developer conversations. It happens in front of everybody. And they confirmed that NVIDIA was working on a Linux kernel for the T239. So not only did they confirm that the T239 exists, he also mentioned that the T239 has 8 CPU cores per node. And if you read deeper, the T239 can support, doesn't have it by default, but can support up to 4 nodes. So for certain applications of the T239, it could have up to 32 cores. But that's for certain applications. Clearly, the Switch application would not be 32 cores. That would be insanely expensive and really more difficult to dissipate heat and stuff. But that it can be used for other mobile applications and devices and stuff like that, smart cars and all that. So, but what it does mean is that what we learned is that the T239 referenced by the developer Switch software exists is a new chip that hasn't released yet and has at least 8 CPU cores. Which means the Nintendo Switch Pro 2, Next Gen Plus, new Nintendo Switch, or maybe it's not even called a Switch. They call it someone else. They call it a Nintendo Swatch. Whatever it is, the Switch will have at least, and probably likely, 1 node with 8 active CPU cores. Now, to note, the Tegra X1 has 2 nodes with 4 cores on each node being completely different cores. And Nintendo just doesn't use the 1 node. They just ignore it and shut it off. But it's fine because they're different CPU cores and you couldn't really use them both in a game. Nintendo could have enabled them and let like one run the operating system while one's doing games. They could have done that, but they didn't. Probably to cut down on cost. Or heat. Heat was probably the big reason. That's not
Battery.
Yeah, battery life and heat. So highly likely that the chip that was data mined to be in some Nintendo device that we have never seen, a chip that we couldn't even confirm exists, is now confirmed to exist and have at least 8 CPU cores. That is what we know. We don't know what the CPU cores are. It's presumed right now to be in the ARM line of CPUs again, because it is a Tegra chip, and every Tegra chip is always at ARM CPU cores. You guys might think ARM CPU cores are bad. It's not Intel. It's not AMD. ARM CPU cores are what run half of the world's supercomputers.
Yep.
ARM is not a joke. People don't consider it because they don't make the desktop grade CPUs. They don't make the stuff that you see in most of your laptops and your desktops, because that's not what they focus on. They focus on the mobile space and supercomputers. Well, this is a mobile chip. It's an APU. It highly likely uses the A78 line of CPUs. Now, we don't know which one. There's like 2 or 3 different A78 CPUs. But all of them are significantly more power efficient and faster than the stuff that's in the Tegra X1. So either way, we're getting a better CPU and we're getting 4 extra cores, and that's it. We don't know the rest. We don't know. We think the T239 is going to be Ampere based for the GPU side of it, which again, 3000 series of GPU. We think it's going to be that. We don't know 100% for sure, but it kind of makes sense now that NVIDIA is basically not making Ampere anymore and moving on to making 4000 series cards, which is based on Ada Lovelace. It kind of seems like, okay, well, they're going to go with Ampere then because it's cheaper now. Cheaper to make now. So that would make more sense. And yeah, we have no idea what the RAM's going to be, storage, form factor, how big the screen's going to be. Are they still going to use an OLED panel? Are they going to go back to LCD or pick something else? So they're going with the VA panel, IPS, OLED, mini LED. Who the hell knows? We have no idea. but we actually have factual based information from an actual employee. Now, again, the employee didn't mention the next Switch because they're not going to. They're working on Linux support, right? So that employee's working on Linux support, which is not what Switch uses. Switch uses FreeBSD, which is based on Unix, which is also what Linux is based on. I think it's also what Mac OS is based on. If I remember, it's based on Unix. But that doesn't really matter because once you get past Unix and you fully customize it, it's not like the base of all these platforms is 100% the same. Like Linux isn't the same as Mac OS, isn't the same as FreeBSD. It just has the core underneath it all. It's kind of like Chromium browsers. No, Chromium browsers are pretty much all Chrome. It don't really matter which one you use. Anyways, so this is the way that I want to throw this out there. What are our thoughts? Mike, you must be super happy because you've been bringing up the Switch Pro every week, even though we literally never had a topic on it this whole time.
Yeah.
But now we have it. So, Mike, tell me that you have something to say.
Bringing it up, never know.
Tell me you have something to say, Mike. We finally have a reason to talk about the Switch Pro again, or Switch 2, or whatever it is. So, Mike, I'm going to throw it to you. What are your thoughts?
Listen, I've been sure that another console has been coming since the beginning. I just, I needed to talk about it recently in the last couple of weeks because I just felt something brewing in behind the scenes. I'm like, wait, and I felt this since before the Nintendo Direct when Nintendo had nothing out. Okay, I compared game releases. Okay, so I'm like, yeah, I wasn't looking at chips. I was looking at game releases, and I saw that each year by a Nintendo Direct there were certain amount of games already announced for the following month or year, and there was a certain part of a calendar already filled out by a certain time. But this year has been very, very different. Nintendo's been very slow and kind of holding back a lot. And even what we've gotten announced when it comes to first party games, setting aside Breath of the Wild, sorry, Tears of the Kingdom, setting aside
There
that
you
game
go.
hasn't been first party breaking games. We haven't gotten a Donkey Kong in a long time. Of course, Mario since Odyssey. And I'm like, there has to be a reason why Nintendo's is holding back. And I'm gonna tell you that Joycey, no, I'm not friends with Miyamoto. But I will have him on the podcast soon, one day. Anyway,
Breaking news.
I'm
Wait
almost,
a second. Did you just break news? Did
What
you
was
just
that?
break news that Miyamoto's coming on your podcast?
Well, I will have him on the podcast pretty soon.
He just casually drops it out of nowhere. Oh, by the way, I have a Nintendo com with permission from Nintendo. No big deal. Oh, by the way,
Right.
all these voice actors, they're all coming over. Next thing you know, Miyamoto, he's just on my podcast soon.
Don't forget the voice of Noah. He's coming on the podcast next
Yes, I know, the 24th. Ugh.
week. No, the 30th. The 30th.
It's the 30th now? You're pushing it back?
Yeah. The last Friday of the month.
I thought it was the last Saturday.
No, because the last Saturday, I want to do towards the end of the month. Like towards.
You mean because
Closer
it was
to
like
the
a whole
end of the
week
month?
after the last Saturday?
Yeah. So yeah, it's the 30th now.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
I'll give you a pass.
but,
Could have just went with the first.
Yeah, I kind of felt like there something is brewing. And I don't think it's a Switch. Like I don't think it's a Switch. From the moment that I heard that there were people out there with dev kits, I feel like whenever Nintendo gives out a dev kit, it's for a brand new console, not for an upgraded console. I don't think they gave out dev kits for the OLED.
No,
they
no.
just-
But OLED's using the
but-
same tech inside. It's just a screen change. They don't need a new Switch.
It's the same. Yeah, it's the same exact Switch.
Yeah, they
You know?
don't
I
need new
mean-
dev kits. Like they wouldn't need to hand out ones for OLED.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you right now, the new 3DS that was more powerful, there was a new dev kit.
I think Nintendo is done with the Switch with the OLED. I think that's it. I think the next console is going to be the next gen console.
Switch
It's
2.
going to be the next gen console. Like the console is going to take us to the next 5, 6 years, 7 years. Who knows?
And if it's
I
using the
think Nintendo's
T239
is going to deal with it this way.
Yeah.
I think they're going to take like a similar route to PlayStation, where they're going to maintain both like PlayStation 4 and 5 at the same time for a little bit, then gear off the regular Switch and stay on the next gen console, which I'm not sure if they're going to be calling the Switch. They probably call someone else. But it just makes sense. It just makes sense that we get another console, and I think that other console is gonna be backwards compatible, meaning you're gonna get it. You'll still have access to your games from the Switch, and we'll probably get for a year or two, dual releases, one on the Switch, one on a new console, and of course there are gonna be those games that devs have been wanting to bring to the Switch, but they can't on the new console, and those games are gonna be only on the new console and not on the Switch. So we are gonna have like exclusive console games. But I think Nintendo is moving on to the next thing. Whether they call it the Switch, whether they keep the Switch branding, that's we nobody knows, But I just have this feeling like we're headed to the next gen, and I think it's time. I think it's time for Nintendo to move on to the next gen. Not give us another minor update, because it wouldn't make sense in the world that we live in now, and how long will we have that minor update, and why release an incremental upgrade just to add a 4K, when you can actually get a new console, add 4K, another feature, different way to play, give us a brand new experience when it comes to because Nintendo's been giving us incremental upgrades from the Wii U to the Switch, from the Wii to the Wii U to the Switch. I feel like it's been incremental upgrades. Different controllers, different ways to play. But I do feel like that there's something coming. I think 2023 is a year for it. I do think it's gonna be it's coming out in May. It's gonna be probably announced in March, but it's coming in May, because it's gonna be a launch. It's gonna launch together with Tears of the Kingdom. And by the way, Mac, the M1 chip they're all ARM chips, by the way. So for anybody in the chat who's trying to dish ARM chips, M1 is one of the most powerful chips ever.
Especially for content creation.
M2 right now is one of the most powerful chips ever. Like this little tiny chip you can actually eat. Okay.
Don't recommend it.
One of the most powerful chips ever, and they're ARM chips. So ARM is the past, is the present, and is the future. So don't diss ARM chips just yet, because Apple is doing incredible things with that little chip. Okay. And putting one in the next Nintendo is just genius, because this way you can keep the form factor small, and make it a portable one, and keep it small, instead of doing like Steam Deck did, make it big, bulky. You would have to keep it small. I mean, unless you make it bigger because you need to, create insulation for the fans and stuff like that. But yeah, don't diss ARM, because ARM is the future. But yeah, I believe that I believe we'll see something new next year, and I don't believe it's an upgrade. It's an incremental upgrade. I think it is the next console. I think it is the next console for Nintendo. So, and I'm excited because I'm ready. I'm ready for something new. I mean, if they want to keep the Switch name on it, I love the Switch, but man, I want something new. I want something brand new to get excited about. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, absolutely. One thing I saw someone mention in the chat. Oh, this guy's wrong about everything. I want to clarify, for those who don't know, Mike works for Apple. So, as an example, when he says like ARM is the core of the M, he would know he works for the company. Besides the fact that it's public knowledge, it already is public knowledge.
Yeah, I saw that comment.
Yeah, it's public knowledge. So now, if you think he's wrong about his opinions on stuff, it's just his opinion.
Yeah, his opinion.
It's whatever. Yeah. Like ARM's the future. Who knows? He's gonna think that. He's an Apple guy. Of course, he's gonna think it's the future. Obviously, PCs right now don't use ARM.
It is technically the future for Apple.
It is the future for Apple. It is absolutely the future for Apple. Dude, there's eventually going to be an M something chip in a phone, and at that point, it's just I don't even know. Yeah. I don't even know how other phones compete unless they're using ARM themselves. I don't know. I don't even know how.
Yeah.
But that's I already talked about. Like ARM is killing it in mobile space, and obviously with Apple and supercomputers. Eric, what are your thoughts? I got some thoughts to respond to Mike here, but I want to get your thoughts first. Switch Pro, This weird stuff,
Yeah,
8 CPU cores. What the hell's
Right.
going on? When's this thing come? What is happening?
What I'm just really hoping that this dev just didn't hear rumors of stuff out there and just like, you know what? Let's mess with people and start with one of his buddies on the chat just to screw with people, because I can see that happening. Yeah, they think this chip is coming out. Let's just give them a little bit of it's totally coming out. That's what I'm hoping isn't happening. But I also wouldn't be surprised if it did.
I don't think Nintendo's that jaded. Nintendo, I don't think cares about anybody but themselves. What everyone else is saying out there, they're like, whatever, man. We drop stuff when we're ready. We do what we want.
Yeah.
Oh, you think we're using that? Cool, maybe we are. I don't know. We're never going to admit to it, so who cares?
Right. But, that's what I'm hoping isn't the case. I'm hoping it's true. I'm hoping we get something because, like Mike said, I'm ready for a new one. I mean, I'm still rocking the OG. So, I'm really looking to, get a little bit more power, a little bit more everything out of a Switch here. Hopefully they kind of keep the same general concept because it's freaking awesome. So that's kind of what I'm hoping this all turns out to be. Whether it's the next gen or just an incremental upgrade, just give me a little bit more right now. The OLED screen wasn't quite enough for me to justify purchasing a new one.
It is pretty gorgeous, though.
Oh no! Don't get me wrong. Yeah.
I'm just
for
pointing
sure.
out, like, I'm not saying
For
I'm
sure.
not saying that if I wasn't a YouTuber that I would have bought it, but the OLED
No,
screen,
100%.
And when
You
I'm
are
playing
not
I'm
wrong.
playing Splatoon 3 on that OLED screen, it's
Yeah,
mwah,
you are
those
not
colors
wrong.
are popping.
But just the OLED screen in and of itself is not worth. I can't justify another $400.
I mean, people justify spending another $4,000 just to change their TV to OLED. So.
I mean, yes, but that's not me.
There are people that do that.
Yes, I am not people.
No, this is not an OLED TV, by the way. I had somebody the other day say, "Hey, is that an OLED TV?" It's not, but look how good it looks.
Yeah,
It's a top of the line TV, but it's not OLED. Won't get into the specs on it. Maybe some other day because I have to look them up exactly, but it's pretty high end. That being said,
Yeah, it's a QLED.
Yeah, I think it was a QLED.
I don't know if it's QLED.
I'm pretty sure
It might be QLED. I'm not sure. I'd have to go look.
I'm almost positive it was QLED.
I have the manual for it somewhere too. So all I know is the colors are awesome and the blacks are almost as good as OLED. Like my phone screen's OLED, and when I hold it up next to it with the black levels are the same. It's insane.
Still didn't compare to mine.
I was debating between getting the OLED and the QLED, and I was standing side by side looking at them both, and I went for the QLED because I just loved how this one looked better.
Yep, I like that it's got better brightness, obviously, than OLED has, and I like that it has. Well, this one has a film on it that deals with glare a little bit better, but that's one reason why we have it. But there's I don't know, there's some things I liked about it. But getting back to the Switch Pro, the big thing for me is, like, Mike thinks it's a new system, a new whatever it is. If it's a new Switch, it's a new Switch. If it's not, it's not. It's something else. I look at it like this. Whatever this is, I don't think is a mid-gen upgrade, but I also don't think Nintendo's going to treat it like it's next-gen. But it might as well be next-gen. But you might as well call it an upgrade. All they're going to do is say it's part of the Switch family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I guess. If
That's my
they
opinion.
keep
That's my opinion.
The Switch branding alive because it's good. I mean, it's successful.
It's successful. It's still highly popular. It's well recognized, and as long as you're very clear in like how you brand it, like Switch OLED. Sure, I guess it was clear. It was a Switch with an OLED screen. If you call it Switch 4K, hey, you know what? It sounds stupid, but guess what? If that's the selling point, if they think the 4K is the selling point, they'll just call it Switch 4K.
And don't be surprised if they actually call it that, because the selling point for the OLED was OLED screen, Switch OLED. So yeah, I'm with it.
Yes.
Wait, and wouldn't that technically be the fourth version of the Switch? Because you got the OG. Oh no, Redbox.
Redbox is version 2, Switch Lite, and then
OLED.
it'd be
Shit.
the fifth. It'd be the fifth
Damn it.
version.
Because I could see it in
The
the
more
4K
I
of Switch
the more
4.
the more sense
But
it
it's
makes
kind of
as
like
a
the fourth one, because all the
Yeah.
V2 did was
Extended battery life.
It did, but
Yeah.
but explain basically the only reason the V2 exists is because the original Tegra chip was super easy to cross the pins to bootload into the to the BIOS and then hack the system basically. So there was there was too easy to do that, so they redesigned the chip to get rid of that, which is why whenever you see people with hacked switches, how many of those are Switch OLEDs or version 2s or Switch Lites? Almost none of them. They're version 1s. I'm not saying that the new Switches are unhackable. I'm saying people haven't bothered to worry about it. They just buy a version 1 because it's so easy to do. So, yeah, that's kind of what happened is they redesigned the chip. They used that chip in the Switch Lite. Then they said, well, let's re-release the Switch because it fixes this easy way people are hacking and have less Switches out there able to be easily hacked. So that's what they did. So it's really the same Switch. Did it end up because of the redesign with some better battery life? Sure, it did. But that was kind of like it wasn't
Happy
like they,
side effect.
I don't think they. Really,
I don't think they were setting out to
I
do
don't
that.
think they redesigned it to get more battery life. They just figured, hey, by making a slight alteration, we're better at the node making now. Hey, it's a little bit more efficient. Okay, cool. But I do think that. So I think it's correct to say there's really only 4 versions, even though you can say there's arguably 5. Because honestly, there's already been 3 different versions of PS5, and people don't even realize it. They've redesigned PS5 3 times already. It's already happened.
That's
Seriously,
crazy.
it already has. They haven't there's no talk about it. It's just PS5. Think about it. It's been 2 years, and there's been 3 redesigns of PS5 since it launched. Not even kidding. Go watch Austin Evans' channel if you want. He's gotten he's gotten all the new models. He's broken them all down. The boards are different. The location's different. The heat sinks are different. Like they've redesigned it, and that's all this really was. It was kind of like an internal redesign. The external still looks the same. So I kind of look at this as this. You can call it whatever you want. Say they call it Switch 4K, Switch Plus, Switch whatever, Switch 2, whatever they end up calling it. I think they're going to keep the Switch branding because it's really popular and hasn't died out. Unlike Wii when they beat that into the ground.
And then decided to
Use
really confuse people.
Use an accessory name for the name of the new system.
Oof.
Yeah.
Wii HD would have been a better name.
Yeah.
It just would have been a better name.
Yeah.
I think what killed the brand was that they actually used Wii, because Wii didn't really mean anything. Just us. Switch it does actually have it's heavy. The name is heavy. Because the
Wii U Wii U was about
handheld and dock mode.
Wii U was about being a Wii that's for you. That was their marketing spin.
But it's just lame and lazy.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that that's what it was. It was a Wii for you. That was the marketing spin.
Not to mention it confused the hell out of a lot of people.
Yeah, it didn't help that there was already accessories for Wii, like the Wii U Draw tablet.
Yeah, right.
And then what is this? It's a tablet?
Yeah.
That you can draw on, and it's in the commercial with you drawing on the tablet. Forgive me if people look at that and go, how's that different than the Wii U Draw from Ubisoft? I'm confused. Yeah. This looks like an accessory.
I thought you could buy it separately and just add to your Switch.
A lot of people thought that.
A lot of people thought that, yeah.
By the way, I don't know what this system's going to be. Nobody does. Besides the people involved, the developers that are making games for it, and naturally, NVIDIA and Nintendo know. Yeah, maybe there's some insiders that have, I don't know if they've seen one, but they're at least aware of it or have developer friends maybe that tell them things. I look at this as, this is legit new information because it's something we weren't sure about. Does it mean a whole lot? No, we don't know the exact CPU cores. We don't know the clock speeds. We don't know if they're going to use multiple clusters. It would be cool if there's going to be 16 cores. There's no way in hell they're going to do that, but it would be cool if they used 2 nodes and we had 16 cores. Or maybe they use 2 nodes and disable 4 cores on each node for some reason because it's more efficient that way. And they still have 8. I have no idea. We have no idea how it's going to be designed, what the GPU specs are going to be, the RAM and all that. But what we do know is 8 cores is double what Switch has now, which factually means that this is going to be a more powerful than the current Switch. And it's the first real sign we have had, like publicly available, visible, confirmable sign that yes, there's a new something that exists for Nintendo's platform or future platform that's more powerful than what we have now. We've always kind of figured it does exist. We've been talking about it for a long time. Nintendo said last year they're working on new hardware, but that's it. We're always working on new hardware. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
This is just the first sign that the hardware is real. It exists. And the key thing is, if they're working on kernel support, that basically means it's in production. That's always interesting to think about because in production, it makes you feel like, oh, this is coming out in the next year for something.
Yeah.
For something. It might not be first, but by the way, Switch whatever might not be the first product to launch with it. It could be some smart car, could be something else, but could be a new Shield TV that comes out with it first. I have no idea because Nvidia can use the tech on other things, or it could be the next Switch that comes out first. So like it releasing around Zelda, I have no idea. I mean,
I mean,
I have no idea.
Like, as a business person, like I'm asking you this question, Nate. As
if I ran Nintendo,
pretend this is your business, okay? You're about to launch one of the most anticipated games in years, okay?
sure.
Wouldn't it be smart to just launch it with that most anticipated game in years?
I would say if I knew I was going to have a new piece of hardware that I want to sell well coming out within the next let's give it a year and a half. Let's give it to the end of 2024. I would say knowing the investment in this game, it would make sense to have it come out around launch or even the day of launch. But also, PlayStation has proved you can release a really big game now, have a extra 4K version you could sell later on the new system, and double dip. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is a really, really great testing ground for that. Released on Wii U, it's the biggest game on this platform right now. So there is no saying that even if they drop it now, that they have to release new hardware, when they could repackage it with DLC, advertise 4K assets, toss it out on the next system a year and a half from now. So it's one of those situations where I'm not sure which is better from a business perspective, double dipping or launching it with it.
I feel like it would actually benefit more if you launch with it, because then there are going to be those people who don't really replay games that often, and they're fine with having to have played Tears of the Kingdom on the regular Switch, and they wouldn't go back. There are those people. There are those. Yeah. Oh my God, 4K. I'm gonna go into it. I'm gonna play it again in 4K. But launching it together with the system, that's just a really good selling point, because this game looks gorgeous. You know,
Sure. For sure.
game.
But so would like a new Mario Kart. So would a new 3D Mario game or a new
Right.
Mario
Oh, yeah,
Kart
for sure.
at
Those
launch.
those three would be kind of the biggest ones that I could see them dropping a console.
Like you could launch one of those to either 3D Mario or a Mario Kart. I think is probably what they might be setting up here for launch, and then you could have the 4K Zelda repackaged again for $60 and release it 3 months in, like they did with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like, I feel like they can go either way with it. They don't have to launch it with Zelda. I think that there is some logic to say it makes sense, especially if you think this is going to be another 25 million selling Zelda game. Well, sure, it's not probably going to hit 25 million on the OG Switch. It could. Maybe it passes it. Maybe it breaks records and it even sells faster than Animal Crossing's first year. Maybe it crosses 30 million in a year. I can't say that can't happen because what is the sales potential of Zelda right now? I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't even know. We're in uncharted territory. We've never had a Zelda game do what Breath of the Wild did sales-wise. So how do you even project with this? Here's my projection. It'll be above 10 million. But what if it's not? But what if it's not?
Yeah.
What if it's not? Other Zelda games been above. So what if it's not? I say above 10 million, and it comes off the gate with 5-6 million, and then it just kind of peters off. Like we have no idea. You know?
The reason Breath of the Wild sold so much is because it actually opened up to a new type of audience when it comes to games. You know how Legend of Zelda, you stated yourself that they've had a formula from before Breath of the Wild. You know, they've had they've been following kind of like the same formula, and then when Breath of the Wild came in, they broke everything. They eliminated dungeons, they added something new. You know, it created something completely different when it comes to Zelda, bringing in all of this brand new audience that maybe they weren't that fond of the old formula, and into this new world. And I think that's why this game did so much, and I think the sequel is gonna make even more than the first one. That's my prediction. I think it's gonna make even more than the first one, and also
That's a big prediction.
the Triforce. What's it called? The Triforce. Why? That's a good name. The Triforce trilogy. Anyway, but the trilogy isn't even gonna bring more because I still think it's gonna be a trilogy. But yeah, I think the first thing Breath of the Wild is sold with Animal Crossing. I hear a lot Animal Crossing selling so much, but then you have to put into perspective what Animal Crossing meant to a lot of people in the time that it came out. It came out in 2020. 2020 was horrible. A lot of people, the most I hear about Animal Crossing is 2020. Animal Crossing got me through it. I was stuck at home. Animal Crossing was a little world that I just fell into, that I took care of my little villagers. I took care of myself. I took care of this. It's a game that is based on regular time. So you feel winter, you feel summer, you feel the same exact hours. So Animal Crossing was the perfect game for 2020 to get a lot of people through that. Something that I don't think any other game, any other Zelda or Mario could have done. So I attribute the sales to 2020. People stuck at home. Nintendo sold a lot of systems because Animal Crossing is a one-player game, so you needed multiple systems to play Animal Crossing in different consoles. I know here in this household, that year we bought 3 consoles. Why? Animal Crossing New Horizon. I needed my Animal Crossing New Horizon. My 2 daughters needed their own Animal Crossing New Horizon, so we got 3 copies of Animal Crossing New Horizons for 2020, plus 3 Switches. So, I believe that Breath of the Wild did so much better than Animal Crossing on its own, without having 2020 and that weight to fall on. So yeah, Animal Crossing is a great game. Nothing to take away from it, but it was just a game that fit in the perfect timing. It came at the perfect time in order to fulfill a need. To fulfill a need, people were feeling the weight of the times and the pandemic, and depression were high, and a whole bunch of stuff was going on, and Animal Crossing just fit that. It was just like a little bundle of joy that people fell back on to get through it. And that's what I attribute the sales for Animal Crossing to. So when you say Breath of the Wild sold as much as it did on its own, like there was nothing happening in the world, we were fine. Zelda did great because of that brand new experience they were presenting, and now the anticipation for that brand new game, that Tears of the Kingdom. Man, what does that mean? Like people who are like watching who are hooked on Breath of the Wild, right? Well, Breath of the Wild, that's a great name. It's an open world, but man, Tears of the Kingdom. What does that mean? I need to know. Can you imagine all those people who are hooked on Breath of the Wild, who weren't Zelda fans? I'm still a baby Zelda fan. You guys know that already. I'm a baby newborn Zelda fan, and I'm super hyped for Tears of the Kingdom. I'm super incredibly excited for that game, And then from now on, Zelda Breath of the Wild is my favorite game of all time before everything else. And I just got into the Zelda game. I feel like I really got into it with Breath of the Wild, and a lot of people with me they are in my same position. So Tears of the Kingdom, I could sell double what Breath of the Wild did just because of that, just because of the new the new fan base that just got into this, they became Hylians. They went into Hyrule, fell in love with the story, got to know Zelda, got to know Link, got to know all these characters, got to know the backstory of each character, and Zelda's doing it all on its own, all on its own, and I feel it's gonna be even better, So
we can always count on Mike.
I just wanted to say that because I heard way too much about how many the comparison with Animal Crossing, how much that sold, Breath of the Wild, how much that sold, and I feel like Breath of the Wild just outdid it. Without 2020, I don't think Animal Crossing would have sold that many. I really don't think so.
What do you think it would have sold without 2020?
I think it would have been comparable to other Animal Crossing games. I don't have any numbers off the back, but I think it would have just
New
stuck
Leaf,
to the
New
main
Leaf was like
fan
15
base for
million.
Animal. Yeah, if you guys can put it up, I think it would have just stuck to the main fan base for Animal Crossing. What 2020 then was introduce a lot of what 2020 did for Animal Crossing is what Breath of the Wild did for non-Zelda fans. It introduced a game, to a brand new audience, and got a brand new audience to become, fans, true fans, and loving fans of the Zelda franchise.
Okay.
Because I wasn't that great. I wasn't that crazy about Zelda franchise before Breath of the Wild. After, dude, I'm in love with the franchise. I love it.
So just talking about the Animal Crossing sales, the very first one, technically called Animal Forest on the N64, but it ended up being Animal Crossing on GameCube, because it technically, I think it was in Japan that it first
it has
released.
different names.
Animal Forest. Anyways, when the total sales there are about 2.5 million for the original Animal Crossing, and that.
Yeah.
But then on DS, Wild World sold 12 million. On Wii, it only sold 4, which is higher than it did on the last home console, but obviously not in comparison to their handhelds, which their handhelds have always been more popular. And then on 3DS, New Leaf sold 15 million. So already a 3 million increase over Wild World. And then obviously we didn't really have anything. There was Amiibo Festival and Happy Home Designer in between.
Yeah.
But then we had Animal Crossing New Horizons, which is already like that close to being 40 million.
Yeah.
So I would say it's safe to say that even without 2020, it would have sold 20 mil, just based on the growth it had there going and the momentum of Switch on top.
Oh,
Because Switch has increased sales for everything.
I'm finding something here that's saying as of December 31st, 2021, New Horizons sold more than every other Animal Crossing combined.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have the official sale. Like you can go look at the official
Yeah.
top 10 sales for Switch, and Nintendo has it published. But Animal Crossing is huge. It's right behind Mario Kart. And for me, like thinking that the next Zelda game can go double, even with a new hardware coming out, like going double is insane. Like that's like 50, 60 million copies because Zelda's almost at 30 million.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see that. You're starting to get up in the GTA territory there, and on a single platform, even if it's on 2, like the OG Switch and the new hardware. Like that's still. You got to remember, no Zelda game's ever done this, and Breath of the Wild was great, and it was a new experience, and there's a lot of anticipation for the sequel. But it's also a sequel. It's not a new experience. You're still gliding. You're still climbing. You're still in the same world. It's not as fresh as like Mario Odyssey was compared to the previous Mario game. What was like New Super Mario's U or Super Mario 3D World? Like 3D World to Odyssey was a massive difference. 25 million in sales. So I think like the next 3D Mario probably isn't Odyssey 2 because it actually would sell better if it was another fresh idea Mario game. It's like I kind of think that you're sort of limited in sales to what's already sold. I don't know that Breath of the Wild 2, Tears of the Kingdom, brings in new people. Because it's a direct sequel. I kind of feel like whatever Breath of the Wild sold, its top is the absolute top this one could sell. Could be wrong, by the way. Zelda's always been able to stand on its own, and the way they're going to set up the story here, it's probably still going to stand on its own.
Yeah.
But it also is a direct sequel. And the trailer views, although impressive, are nothing compared to Breath of the Wild's trailer views in 2016. So the hype levels aren't even as high as it was in 2016 for Breath of the Wild. That, by the way, that doesn't mean that the hype isn't insanely high. This is the most hyped Nintendo game in forever. But it's also kind of the reason people bring up Animal Crossing. Yeah, it was helped by a pandemic, but Animal Crossing had already sold more than any Zelda game had ever sold before, twice. Zelda's never been above 10 million until this happened. So, like for me, I kind of more a pessimist about it, I guess, saying that hey, this sold 27, maybe 30 million when it's all done. It also had 6 years on the market with one of the most fastest selling Nintendo platforms of all time. Who's to say the new
outpacing the console?
Who's to say the new hardware is going to even be as successful as the current Switch? It could still cross 100 million and not be as successful as the current Switch, which could hurt the sales of it and give it less momentum. So It's kind of an up in the air. And that's why I look at it as like, should it launch with new hardware? Should it not? I don't know that it really makes a difference. It kind of depends on the sales model Nintendo's looking at, because there is something to say. Yeah, it should launch with new hardware, and it would still launch on the old, so you'd have the entire Switch audience plus all the new people that want to play it in 4K or whatever. And yes, that's exciting and that drives sales. But I mean, what made the Switch go? I mean, yeah, Zelda was huge at launch, but it was that they followed it up with Mario Kart. That they followed it up with Splatoon 2. That they followed it up with Mario Odyssey. It was this consistent release of massive games. Even though Mario Kart 8 was just a port, it worked because nobody played Wii U. So for most people, it was considered a brand new Mario Kart game. So it's an interesting thing to think about. And I do think that when it comes to the hardware, I don't think they're abandoning the Switch branding. They haven't ran it into the ground. If the new platform can still be played on the go and docked, the branding still works. It can still be a similar... the thing is we usually don't see Nintendo do iterative consoles where it's just more power. Like, that's just not something they've done since Wii. But they kind of did. DS to 3DS was an iterative console. They added 3D, but guys, it was just a more powerful DS. Let's just be real. And it can even play DS cartridges, which, by the way, I really hope that this thing can be backwards compatible with those cartridges as well. Might even use the same cartridges. I have no idea.
Never know. Yeah.
But I'm stupidly excited for whatever this is, only because I got this big TV that your mug is on right now, and man, would it be glorious to play Tears of the Kingdom in 4K. Legitimately, you could do it through an emulator, but emulator aside, an official Nintendo hardware on a live stream where I have to change my setup because I want to play on this. I'll stream to you guys, but I'm playing on this. I'm not playing on my little dinky portable monitor, Tears of the Kingdom. It ain't happening. I'm playing on this big SOB. You guys are going to be on the dinky monitor. so I'm going to change my entire setup for this game if new hardware comes out. If new hardware doesn't come out, then I probably will keep it on the smaller screen because it'll actually look better on a smaller screen than on the big screen. But yeah, dude, and even talking about this, like, Nintendo always tries to do something. Like, even the new 3DS had that something. It had glasses-free 3D. Wii U had, obviously the whole gamepad idea. Switch kind of combined everything together that from Nintendo's past into a single system that can do, portable and home console. So even if they do have like an iterative Switch, there's going to be something on it.
Something new, yeah.
That they think they needed new hardware for. It might be an idea that gets ignored and is never really used by anyone, but but there's going to be something. I just don't know what that something is. Maybe it folds in half.
Yeah.
It's a folding Switch.
That'd be
I
interesting.
don't like folding switches. That breaks.
I mean,
Changes
yeah,
the way
it wouldn't be good for kids. I can tell you that. Maybe I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no camera on Switch right now, so maybe they put a camera on it and you can do AR now, which I guess they did on prior systems, and that's one feature they didn't bring back was AR. So maybe they think that's ready to come back.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, there's gonna be something new. I believe it or not, I think the focus is gonna be more on hardware. Believe it or not, I mean, when it comes to power, the biggest power was from the 64 to the GameCube, right? In Nintendo history, when it comes to the graphical power, like the biggest
you mean the
leap.
largest leap?
The largest leap.
I'd have to go back and look. It might be the largest leap. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So I think they might, knowing that we're living in this type of world now where people are so interested in graphical power and resolution, they have to address that. Of course, they're gonna be Nintendo and give you a brand new way to play because they wouldn't be Nintendo without it. They've been doing it since the beginning. I remember that running pad for the NES, with the big giant pad on the floor with the all the numbers. You play that little racing game. Even then, Nintendo had you on your feet. You know what I mean? I agree with that. I think this is gonna be there's gonna be a brand new gimmicky way to play, but there's also gonna be that power that people wanted, behind it. Man, but I don't know, man. it's I've never had this gut feeling before that I feel like we're gonna see something soon, and I think that Tears of the Kingdom is responsible for this brand new thing. I think Nintendo's not gonna pass on that opportunity to display this brand new world that they've been bragging about at all. They haven't been talking about it, but they've been giving us little hints, and there's no better chance. Even if it's not a next gen, even if it's just an upgraded Switch, an upgraded 4K Switch, no better time than to introduce that new feature, those new resolutions with a game as massive as Tears of the Kingdom. You know,
Yeah.
so I'm for it, man. For it.
Dude, I love the chat sometimes. They brought up two things that are always really interesting. Two things that I see repeated.
Yeah.
So one on the whole Breath of the Wild stuff. People always mentioning, because like Age of Calamity comes on, people go like, "Oh, that's a spin-off game. That's not canon." It's never been confirmed or denied if it's canon. The fact is, we don't know. We won't know until Nintendo releases an updated Zelda timeline. Or if AJ Noah just straight up says it's canon. He did mention it is the only game that will explain the events that happened 100 years before Breath of the Wild, which made it feel like canon. And the story was written by the story writers of Breath of the Wild. But people don't want it to be canon.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is. But your desire has nothing to do with whether Nintendo considers it canon or not. In fact, don't be surprised if that alternate ending somehow gets referenced in Tears of the Kingdom. I'm just saying, don't be shocked if it actually turns out to be canon. Because we don't actually factually know. And for people that go, but it can't be, one, timeline splits everything. Two, the ending that leads to Breath of the Wild happens at the very beginning of the game. If you actually pay attention, it happens. What leads to Breath of the Wild can still happen.
Yeah.
There was a time travel mechanic that altered the timeline. So it's possible there's a split timeline off of the game. It's weird that they would want to split a timeline off of that, but the story was written by the very people that made Breath of the Wild. So take that for what you will. The other thing that was brought up in the chat was somebody mentioned, well, what if Nintendo I see this mentioned a lot. What if Nintendo just releases a new dock that has more processing power in it? The Switch is not Thunderbolt compatible and doesn't have the bandwidth for it.
Unless we got a new Switch that's also compatible with the.
But I mean, if you release a new Switch, you're going to have new hardware in the Switch. You're not going to put it in the dock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So like, yes, people always point to the patent because there was a patent from Nintendo about a supplementing computing device ages ago, like before Switch even came out. And yes, the supplementing computing device is a GPU. It's a GPU that you run through a Thunderbolt port. It exists for laptops. External GPUs are a thing. And I've talked about this before, but you have to have the CPU headroom to use the GPU power. The CPU's maxed out on Switch as it is right now. There's no headroom. When you look at bottlenecks in hardware, the CPU is the bottleneck on Switch. Mm-hmm. So you can't just have a dock that has a new CPU in it. That doesn't work because the CPU is basically the brains of your entire system. You can't have a USB-C connect. This is why there's not external CPUs to run for your laptop to boost the power of your CPU. It doesn't work that way. The CPU has to be localized on the motherboard. Has to be because it's the brains. You can't have it over a USB connection. Just doesn't work. You can do it with the GPU because the GPU doesn't need to be directly connected. That's why there's riser cables. That's why there's external GPU boxes. It doesn't need to be directly connected, but the CPU does. So
GPU is graphics and CPU is power. So
CPU is all the processing. You have to have it directly connected to the motherboard. So they can't have an external dock that has a new CPU. A GPU, yes, but all current Switches do not have a high enough speed USB-C port to take advantage of it. So the current Switches can't use a supplementing computer device, is what I'm saying. And it would still have to be a new device. And if you're releasing a new device, the new device itself is just going to be more powerful. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe they could arguably future-proof that device, turn the USB-C port into a full Thunderbolt port, and give the option of there being so much CPU headroom that the GPU is the actual limiter. Then you can argue, 5-6 years from now, they release a dock with a new GPU in it for like $150 or something. But that would be in the future. That wouldn't be now. And another thing to consider, and this is something that is factual. This exists. This is real. You want to switch OLED, you have it right now. This white dock can be updated.
Yeah.
There's no reason to update the dock. All it is an interface. It just takes your signal, converts it to HDMI, and puts it out on the TV. It also is a way to deliver direct power, which you could just do by plugging a cord in, but it's a way to deliver direct power, which then tells the system, oh, we can unlock the second tier of clocks that's enabled in the operating system to run a little bit faster. And obviously this has a Ethernet port on it too, so it does help you interface with the internet now too. The old dock didn't. But there's not actually a reason to need to ever update this. Most docks, most dongles you plug into your computer, they never need to be updated. Most of them don't even have memory modules. They don't even need to be updated. They do one thing, and that's all they do. The thing is, this has the ability to update, and it has never been updated. It's been over a year. It's been like a year at this point, and we have not had one update released for the dock. The option is in the menu system of Switch,
Yeah.
but it's never happened. We've had our controllers updated multiple times. The operating system all up, never the dock. Dock's never been updated. Why? What's going on? There is a chip in the dock right behind the HDMI port, and I took this apart back in the day when it came out and showed it on screen, the chip. That chip is a 4K compatible output chip. People confused it with, this can upscale your games. No. It means the dock has the ability to output a 4K signal to your TV, not upscale your games to 4K. Mm-hmm. The dock just doesn't do it.
So basically, what they did was they future-proofed
the dock. They future-proofed the dock for the next Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Or the devil's advocate way of looking at it as the Switch OLED was supposed to be something else that it's not, and it's a leftover feature that's never used.
Yep.
That's what I first thought about it. When I first
it's one of the two. It's
Well,
it's either for a future Switch that hasn't come out yet, or the OLED was supposed to be. It's not, and we're never going to get that Switch, and so it's just a leftover feature that it was just too late to design it out, because why waste the money to redesign it when you've already done it?
Or third option, the upcoming Switch was supposed to be the OLED one, and they released this, and then the next one is coming out anyway with the same exact OLED screen with the same with upgraded internals, which you can still use with the same dock.
Yeah, and they would just release an update for the dock, and then I'm not saying they're not going to sell the next one with a dock, but
I think if that's the case, because that kind of makes sense, you right up there, but it kind of makes sense. If they do release an upgraded Switch, this dock could be compatible with that Switch, and then they will release the update.
My thought process is this: the OLED was supposed to be the upgraded Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But because we were still in recovery from the pandemic and demand for computer parts across the industry was still so high, they just weren't going to be able to get manufacturing going enough to procure enough parts to realistically launch it. It would end up being scarcer than the PS5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but they still had good procurement of the normal Switch parts, and it was still selling incredibly well, even outselling PS5 until this month or until August. So they just kind of figured, you know what? Let's just let it ride. We already bought the screens, and we already have the chassis and all this stuff being made. Let's just go with the same internals and release that and just see how it does. And yeah, it's taken over. It's the top selling Switch at the moment. Is the version of Switch that sells the most is the OLED. And
Smart move.
And then they could say, hey, we're still going to use that chip when manufacturing beefs up later. We'll launch it with something, maybe Zelda, I don't know, could be something. And we'll just keep the same dock. But the same day we launch it with the same dock,
Get an update.
there's an update for everyone who has this dock.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, what does that do? Well, it does nothing for your normal Switch.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it compatible with the new one.
But it makes it compatible with the new one at 4K.
Yep.
Now, people get confused, guys. 4K does not mean we're getting native 4K. Native 4K is when you go on your computer and set your resolution to 4K. That's native. That's not what's happening. It's going to be through DLSS. We're not getting 4K in a mobile chip. That's not how it works. It's going to be through DLSS. So it'll be able to output a 4K signal to your TV, and that 4K image you see that looks really crisp and looks good is going to be done through deep learning super sampling, or if you want to look at it another way, AI controlled upscaling is basically another way to look at it. and it's better than the upscaling your TV does, because all TVs technically have an upscaler in them, and any content that's below 4K on a 4K TV, when you have it set to the 4K setting, it will automatically upscale them, but you notice that it still looks kind of blurry. The TV upscalers aren't very good. If they were, your TV would cost a hell of a lot more.
And to clarify, this is all based on the evidence that has been brought to light. But at the end, Nintendo does what Nintendo does. At the end, once it's announced, then we'll know if they did really use the DLSS technology or whatever, or they went a different route. But
here's where I get in trouble.
What was that?
Here's where I get in trouble.
Yeah.
I know a few developers. Not many, to clarify, just a few. Which I guess maybe I should say I know many, because I might narrow it down.
Yeah.
What were you getting in trouble, though?
I know someone that's making a game for the new hardware.
Okay, so you're actually
However,
throw them under the bus.
No. I have permission to say this.
Oh, cool. So it can be on my top 3 news tomorrow.
Sure. It's how do I say this? I don't know a lot, guys. If you're looking at me and you're like, give us the details, give us the specs. I don't know. I don't know any of that shit. Give us when it's coming out. They wouldn't know when it's coming out.
He is the replacement for the recently retired leaker or insider.
Emily Rogers.
I think it's the new replacement.
Emily Rogers never leaked anything for Switch Pro, anyways. But
insider. That's what I mean. Insider.
All the insiders that reported on Switch Pro originally are still active, and might know even more than I do. I have no idea. If you actually think about what the insiders said, they didn't really say much. But one detail was confirmed to me, just one, and it's a detail we've already heard. But it was just interesting to have it confirmed. The new whatever it is, they don't know what it's going to be called either. It's got some code name behind the scenes. Okay. Will have DLSS. They're literally developing a game using it. So I don't know what game it is. I have a guess based on where they work, what game it is, but I can't even get into that. Obviously, I'm not going to give away anything. They're not supposed to say anything. The only reason he was willing to say that is because that's already been out there. It's already been reported on. They're not breaking news. This isn't breaking news. Nintendo Prime says there'll be DLSS.
What?
Okay, okay. Bloomberg said there'll be DLSS a year ago.
I can't put in my title. Nintendo Prime knows a developer who is currently working on the next gen Switch.
What clickbait is that? I mean, it's the truth, but there's no new information.
I can say I know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who's working.
Whose mother's uncle's brothers it works at Nintendo.
That's like me saying, "Hey, Mike Odyssey, he knows the kingpin of voice actors at Nintendo. You know what? No. Because of Nintendo Con, he has direct contacts at Nintendo. And what does that mean? I don't know what it means, but he has direct contact.
Different though. It's marketing contact, more like marketing.
I'd rather have marketing contacts than a developer of a third party game.
Not retail contact like hardware, or it's more like marketing, like branding contact than hardware and stuff like that.
I'd rather have that than a developer of a third party game.
Voice actors is a type of marketing, so I guess
I'd still rather have that than a developer of a third party game.
Dude, developer who's actually working on the next gen Switch.
But they won't tell me anything. So it's like, oh, you're working on it. Cool, give me no, I can't. Well, then why do you even tell me? Why do you even tell me? All you're doing is making me go, every time I talk to you, the only thing in my mind is, hey, how about that new Switch?
Man.
How about that new hardware? What's the details? Give it to me.
Right.
I know these are dev unit specs. I don't care. Give it to me. Give it to me. Let me know that thing's got 32 gigabytes of dev unit RAM. Let's go. Let's go.
Show it to me.
Give it to me now. So it's kind of like a big tease. It's like, I know something you wanna know and can't tell you. La la. It's like,
oh boy.
It's like, thanks. Well, can you tell me anything? Sure, it's got DLSS. Oh, okay. Yeah, my game.
I mean,
our game is literally using it right now. Okay.
It might be.
Now tell me more. Stop rubbing it in my face. We already know there's it's not breaking news.
Yeah.
People might end up quoting me on family boards or whatever, and it's like, hey, look, people quoted me over the F-Zero stuff. They're like, well, he wasn't even the originator. I never claimed to be the originating source of the F-Zero rumors. The F-Zero rumors go back like a year, okay? I am not the originating source of it. Guess what? DLSS was talked about by Takahashi Machizuki and Nate Drake last year, okay? This isn't new news. This isn't breaking news. It's just, oh, I happen to know someone too, which basically just means there's more dev units out there than people realize for whatever this is. And because there's more dev units out there, more and more people are just getting the same details confirmed to them because a lot of us know different developers because we've met them at different events like E3.
Yeah.
So we just have, you kind of build these contacts when you go to all these industry events. And so more and more developers are starting to get dev units. And because of that, it does make it kind of feel like it's closer to coming than it is further.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever it is. I couldn't even get him to confirm it's a Switch. The NDA is so, I mean, he wasn't supposed to say anything.
Yeah.
It's technically broke NDA anyways, but broke NDA to just say what everyone already has been told.
So, one thing I've learned over my time as I'm still a baby content creator, YouTuber, whatever. One thing I learned over my time is that where there is smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, but that's what we said last year, and then we didn't get it. So, like, we got to be careful.
We gotta switch OLED. That's what we got.
Hype responsibly, bitches.
I mean, but all the rumors were not about that. They were about a more powerful Switch.
That's what I'm saying. When people talk, it's not necessarily to get it 100% correct, but something always happens. You know,
Yep.
look at that Splatoon thing.
Next year, Nintendo
know?
Switch Mini.
Yeah. The Splatoon.
Nothing to do with the
Switch
rumors.
was
And it's like
completely
this
out of
little
the
big.
blue.
It's like the Game Boy
But-
Micro.
But listen, the Splatoon edition Switch was something out of the blue. Nobody was waiting for that, but there was a lot
was
of
just a
talk
theme
before it
Switch,
came
though.
out. Even though the talk was incorrect, there was talk. So it was some type of smoke. Wherever there's some type of smoke, something always follows.
Hold
Doesn't-
on.
doesn't
Mike,
always
Mike,
necessarily
refresh my
match
memory.
or
What hardware
correct,
smoke was
but there
going
is
on?
some
Hold
type of
on,
truth to it.
Mike, what hardware smoke was going on before the Splatoon OLED was announced?
We were talking about we were talking about, oh my god, Nintendo just took down the OLED Switch down from YouTube. Some is being announced. I think that's a Switch Pro. Switch Pro announcement's coming. Switch Splatoon.
Yeah, but they took it down because the music license ended.
Everybody was reporting. Even I reported about.
Yes, because the music license ended. It was just a coincidence.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a coincidence. There was
Yeah, it's not a
smoke.
coincidence. Nintendo
That's
doesn't
something-
actually have a long
There was
history of
smoke
removing
that a new
videos over
Switch-
music licenses.
I'm not gonna go over my videos and look at my past news. Look, there was smoke that a new console was coming, and it was going to arrive.
The smoke was
around the same
incorrect.
exact time
It was just
arrived.
a happy accident.
But we just didn't get it correct. It wasn't a happy accident. It was just smoke.
The smoke was so the smoke was completely made up speculation.
No, it was smoke from all the evidence that we got. Remember
The evidence was just a trailer
Nintendo
getting taken down.
Nintendo the stockpiling parts and materials and whole bunch of
But
stuff. They were stockpiling.
They're
Nintendo Switch
stockpiling raw
Editions.
materials. What are they doing with those raw materials? I don't know. Making something.
I don't know.
Making
I don't know,
switches.
building a tent.
I'm just saying. It was all speculation. There was no hardware smoke.
Again,
It was
okay,
speculation.
what I'm saying,
Pure
is that when
speculation.
there is a lot of talk, when there's a lot of talk in the community, there's always something happening afterwards. Because
So then, okay, so Switch Pro trends every week on Twitter. So why are we not getting a new Switch every week?
right.
The community hasn't stopped talking about Switch Pro.
It has to happen at a certain point in time. Okay, in a certain point in time in the year, because
So is
we
it when
moved on
Mike
from the
Odyssey
Pro.
provides the smoke, then we
moved on-
listen?
Listen, we moved on from the Switch Pro. We did move on from the Switch Pro because Splatoon edition came out. It wasn't Switch Pro, so we moved on for a couple of months.
not so
There's more smoke now, so now we're back on the train. You know, so and then there's more evidence, of course. So
There was one thing. This is the first real evidence. There's been nothing new on Switch Pro all year until now. Everything else has been baseless speculation.
Hey, I understand, dude. I understand you.
Do you?
know it-
Do you really?
Yeah, I do understand you.
Because there has been nothing on Switch Pro all year until now. May have made videos. It was all baseless speculation and hope. There was not actually anything new happening.
Listen, there is smoke. and
I
there
know.
is
I
smoke.
made the videos. I'm well aware that there was not much substance to those videos.
Listen. Linda.
Linda.
Where there's smoke, there is fire.
Where there is smoke, there's also fire. And
Is
every
there?
time there's been smoke, there's also been fire.
That's not true.
That's all I'm saying. There's no follow up.
There's no follow-up.
That's simply.
That's
I mean,
not true.
Listen.
Let me tell
We
you.
had
Let me
this
tell you,
conversation
son.
before, and you actually
Son.
agreed.
Listen. When I'm burning my
Thing is, you
incense
haven't
in the
had
room,
anybody to
I get a
disagree
lot
with
of
in a while,
smoke
so you need to
without
have your
any
of
fire.
disagreement and back and forward. I know you, buddy.
yeah,
You're my
you know
friend.
what? You keep saying if there's
Okay?
smoke, there's
Right
fire, but
here.
there's not
Look,
always
right
fire.
Here, right here. I know you. I know.
Sometimes
I
there's
know
just
how you-
smoke.
I know how you operate. I know your operating system. Okay.
Well,
you
it's
just operate,
Windows. It's not
but
that
I know
difficult.
it. I know it.
That's why I'm broken. I'm using Windows.
Windows XP.
No, even worse, Windows 11. Actually,
Windows
factually,
11.
I'm using Windows
Oh, that's
11.
worse. That's worse. Never mind.
That's
That's-
significantly worse than XP, at least at the time. Windows 11 is actually fine. It's just I just happen to be lucky enough to have the correct hardware that Windows likes. And that's the problem with Windows 11 is it only likes specific hardware. It's so weird. I just got lucky.
What's so bad about Windows 11? Because I don't have it, so I don't know what's.
It just requires certain security settings and certain stuff that's only available on very, very specific CPUs. And so like a lot of things using Windows 10 just can't upgrade to Windows 11. It's really weird. I happen to be okay because I have like really recent hardware, but yeah, it's a mess. It's a bit of a mess. There's some other smaller issues, but
I've heard complaints of like many updates. Is that true?
I don't think there's been any more updates than Windows 10. I would say the updates are about the same. Well,
And,
there's been I've had a bit of a bug with my multi-monitor setup, and I'm not sure if it's Windows causing it or if it's my monitors. I haven't been able to sort that one out yet, but probably a Windows bug, knowing the way Windows is. Which, by the way, I have no problem. Windows is fine for like just basic stuff. I'm just not a basic user, so my use case is very intense, but it's all right. It all works. Honestly, if I just want to use it as a streaming computer, it's totally fine. It's just I'm doing like too much. I'm doing too much with one machine. That's why I need a Mac Studio. Then I just use this for streaming. Call it a day. And a little bit of light PC gaming.
Even with the Mac Studio, how powerful it is, I think it is not on Mac. It's on developers who make the streaming software.
Oh yeah.
Not putting
Streaming
over to
software
Mac
is just
to,
better on PC because they develop for PC first.
I mean, they've started because now Streamlabs OBS is on Mac, and even though it's the first year, they've been giving us a lot of updates.
Well,
it's
sure.
still not where it needs to be.
Yeah,
It's still
they
not where
want Mac users to choose them over the other options.
OBS, the OBS one.
OBS, and I don't know, does XSplit, does that work on Mac? I've never.
Oh yeah, excellent. That one's a paid one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I prefer OBS just because it's OBS Streamlabs, just because it's so easy to use and it has all these things already pre-installed and all the alerts and everything.
That's
and
why
you
a
can
lot of
actually,
people like the Streamlabs.
The Streamlabs merch shop.
Although,
is
let's
a
properly
merch.
call it by its name. It's now Streamlabs Desktop. There was a controversy over the OBS name because they took a brand name without permission and then were told to stop using it, and they kept using it. Yeah, there was a huge controversy. I actually stopped using Streamlabs for a while because once that news broke, and I'm like, are you serious? Like, your whole platform is built off of somebody else, and they told you to stop using their branding, and you kept using it.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I can see now that it says Streamlabs Desktop on it.
Yep, that's why it
That-
says Streamlabs Desktop.
That is interesting.
Yeah, but I eventually went back to it as well because even though like there's a lot more customization. Basically, because I'm a solo content creator, I went back to it. Honestly, using just the base OBS and then using Stream Elements and all these other add-ons, you can actually do a lot cooler stuff than you can with Streamlabs OBS. However, I don't have the time to dedicate to doing it, so it's just simpler to go with Streamlabs OBS.
Yeah.
But I would love to. That's why I kept selling it. I want to do practical effects. Oh, you want flashing lights? It's because the lights are actually flashing here. It's because I had a power outage. All right, my lights are flickering.
Right?
Everything's running on battery now. Give me a break. It's a lot of watts being pulled right now. A lot of watts.
Yeah, but they need to give us a few more updates just to make it. Yeah, trust me. My M1 Mac, everything I do everything in my I can edit a 4K video, and literally render it out like a 5-minute to 10-minute video. Render it out literally about a minute. It takes a minute to render. That's it.
Just shut up.
And I'm uploading really fast.
Just
Everything
shut
is
up.
Extremely fast.
I don't need to.
get
I don't need to
skipped
hear what I'm missing over here, dude. Just editing my timeline. Oh, look, I got pretty good hardware, but even just editing my timeline, it lags. When I'm doing 4K, it just lags, and that's when I even down the quality of the playback, so it's like at 1/16 or whatever. It still lags and leads to just frustration and me taking longer just to edit. Let alone when I hit render. No, my rendering times aren't bad or anything. Like a 4K 10-minute video, I can get rendered out in probably about 15 minutes, which isn't bad. But it's also like, well, yeah, a minute. Yeah, just stop. I don't need to be reminded how amazing Apple is with content creation. Okay, I chose the wrong path.
Dude, I will take 5 minutes to 6 minutes to render if I have, let's say 4 to 5 4K videos stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, Yulia told me
It'll
I'm
still
allowed
play.
to buy a Mac Studio if I sell my PC. And I looked at her and I said, but I'd still need it for streaming. Well, then you're not buying a Mac Studio.
No.
Yeah.
You sell
Yeah, I would wait.
the PC.
I would wait.
You sell your PC.
Yeah. I sell this PC now. This piece
She
of
didn't
junk now.
specify.
Yeah, she didn't specify which one. I do have a second PC here, desktop PC. I could sell that for maybe $20 on eBay.
You told me if I sold the PC.
No, I honestly think hopefully the channel reaches a point where I can actually just justify it and buy it, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Because I'm debating right now whether, because I actually need a PC to stream. I'm not streaming enough because I don't, man, it's a headache. But I right now I'm in the point where I can buy another Mac. I'm looking to buy another Mac because I need it for my second setup. I'm doing a second setup for the unboxing area. And I'm still debating whether I should go for get a PC or get a Mac, So I'm very torn. And if Streamlabs or anybody else who makes streaming software would just develop with the M1 in mind, man, they would actually just make something really incredible. And I'm just waiting, man. I'm torn and waiting.
Yeah, and someone mentioned like how would like these rumored specs compare to the Steam Deck? Well, we don't have enough information. 8 CPU cores is what we have. We don't even know what kind of CPU cores, so we can't. It's all speculative. Like if you want to look at the Steam Deck, it's got 4 cores, but it's a multi-threaded CPU, so you have 8 threads, which simulates having 8 cores. Now, 8 cores is technically better than 4 cores, 8 threads. But for basic performance, it's pretty much the same. If you ever look into what threading means, it's pretty much equal. So their 8 threads would be pretty much equal to 8 cores, but they're not the same thing. They're different architecture. So what does it mean? What gigahertz is it running at? And even then, let's say the new cores for the Switch, like the cores on I'm reading it right off the official Steam website. The cores for Steam Deck run between 2.4 and 3.5 gigs. Let's say the Switch comes in at 2 gigs. Does that mean that it's a worse? No. It being lower doesn't necessarily mean it's worse because it's a completely different architecture. It could be more efficient. And if it's more efficient, then it being lower doesn't matter. They're not going to be directly comparable because if it's ARM versus Ryzen, those are 2 completely different architectures. So it's really hard to compare, gigahertz for gigahertz, core to core. Like it's so hard to compare. I will tell you this, that ARM is known to be extremely power efficient. Mm-hmm. So that shouldn't be it. If you're worried about battery life, 8 cores, how would that affect battery life? It really shouldn't. If it's newer architecture, that's more power efficient per core. It really shouldn't. You might be able to get 8 instead of 4. Like the amount of power it takes to run 4 cores now might be able to run 8 cores on the new one. We don't know, but it's all just spec. The rest of it we have no idea. Like I can tell you right now, that the one thing the Steam Deck will probably always have an advantage over Switch on is RAM. I don't think the new Switch is going to 16 gigs of RAM. It's a lot. And that's what the Steam Deck has. So I don't think it's going to go to 16. By the way, most games on PC don't even take advantage of 16. But it's not going to go to 16. It's probably going to go to 8. So that will be an advantage to Steam Deck, but it might have a more efficient processor and a higher and more efficient end GPU, potentially. So this is all speculative because we don't know. So it's really hard to say, how does it compare? Well, we don't know. We would need to have better specs than this. Nintendo isn't ever going to give us specs. They never gave us specs on Switch in the first place. Why do we have specs? Because it came out and people figured it out. We don't have specs on the new Switch, and we won't until after it comes out officially. We might get some you might get rumored performance numbers. Like if you hear like a T-flop number, we might get a rumored number. T-flop performance, I believe, on the Steam Deck is 1.4 gigahertz, or teraflops, 1.4 teraflops. And, Switch could come in at 2 teraflops. Could be more powerful. But what you have to remember is it really directly comparable? Steam Deck's a portable PC and probably has a new system coming out every 2 to 3 years with new hardware.
Yeah.
So it's not even the same market. It's not really even the same market. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what this system is, what it's capable of. Do they keep the same form factor of the current Switch OLED, or do they do something a little different to make it look a little different? As an example, do they make it a smidge bigger? Do they get rid of the entire bezel and give you like a 7.5-inch screen just to say, hey, it's different, it's new, it's bigger, even though it's like the same size? Like in terms of, like the dimensions of the whole system could be the same size, but the screen's technically bigger. Well, I don't know what else they could redesign on it besides Joy-Cons. It would be really nice if we got some redesigned Joy-Cons.
Has anybody ever measured the Switch stock compared to the old one? Even when it comes to the width of inside how the Switch fits in it.
Yes.
To see if there are any differences on whether it's thicker, whether it's smaller, whether it's the same exact width.
It's all been measured. I don't have the measurements in front of me, but I remember seeing them before. It's all been measured. People took out their little millimeter measurement tool and they measured everything. I don't remember what those are though. I'm sure you can look them up, but I don't know what they are.
Okay. Hey, that could give us a little hint if there's something different when it works. Which will be greatly welcome. I would welcome an 8-inch screen TV, like little screen thingy.
Yeah, that'd be pretty big. Well, I don't have my Switch OLED on me. It's upstairs. So yeah, I'm not really sure. I can't remember how much room is on the bezel if it can get to 8 inches. Because the bezel shrank. But I can't remember if there's enough room to
but
actually.
We still have some bezel.
Because remember how screen sizes are measured, guys, are diagonally. So even if it can't go up a lot, it could still technically get wider.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it could still get to 8 potentially, but I'd have to see the measurements to see. Basically, I'd have to take out, the good old tape measure and go corner to corner of the bezel, assume there's no bezel, and then that's the maximum size that could fit in the current design.
Mock it up.
Yeah, you'd have to mock it up to see if that can happen.
I'm gonna make a mock up of it, see how it looks.
Yeah, I'd have to get. Yeah, not again. I don't have my Switch OLED on me right now, so I can't even ballpark it. Grab a piece of paper 12 inches long and try to ballpark it. But yeah, it's going to be it's going to be interesting just to see what this thing is. I don't anticipate us talking much about this system for the rest of this year. Like if people are wondering, hey, this is a whole podcast dedicated to it. It is. But we're not really probably going to be talking about the rest of it because I don't think any new details are coming out the rest of the year. We didn't expect this, but I mean, this was a developer thing working on a kernel for Linux, and didn't even give exact specs. They needed some information where the person needed to know the CPU cores per node. It was part of the conversation, so that's how we found that out. But unless more public conversation like that happens, where more information needs to be exchanged, you're probably not going to see anymore. And the fact that it made news also means that NVIDIA is probably going to be like, hey, let's maybe not, talk about this on the Linux public front, because they're not going to want it to make news until they're ready to announce it too, for whatever they're using it on. So, and they didn't announce it today, by the way. There was an NVIDIA event today. I watched the entire thing. It was not announced today, at least not officially. They didn't really explain what all the chips were. It was a weird event. It was a weird event. Oh yeah, our new architecture for the blah 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 smart cards. Go, but what is it? What chip is it? Oh, you're not gonna tell me any of this. Like they could have literally showed off the chip today. We wouldn't even know. Like,
Nice.
like it's NVIDIA's marketing. It's very marketing. It's marketing to be marketing. No real details. Like there's the CUDA cores of our new GPUs, but we're not gonna tell you the Tensor cores. We're not gonna tell you the RT cores. We're not even going to tell you how it all compares because you're already upset because the CUDA cores aren't as much as the old GPUs.
But I think it's because they know that there's enough information out there that people can put two and two together and say, oh, wait, that's the one they're going to use for this.
Yeah.
And it might,
So I personally think that we are in a very, very good position. I just don't think that there's going to be a whole lot of reason to talk about the rest of this year. Now,
the only news is
next year, early next year,
Metroid Prime.
Like I would say, if it's going to end up coming out around Zelda, that early next year we're going to start seeing a hell of a lot more smoke. A hell of a lot more smoke. If Nintendo relays to the developers of games that we plan to launch this thing around May or early summer. Then it's like, yeah, you're going to see a lot of smoke because that means Nintendo's probably announcing it at the February Direct. Or if they don't announce it at the Direct because they haven't technically announced hardware at a Direct, they're going to announce it on its own event or its own thing, around that time. Or maybe even the next month in April or something like that. But yeah, we'll hear a lot of smoke about it then because there's too many developers that have dev kits for us not to hear something. Nintendo will relay to them when to expect to have games ready. And people go, well, last year. I'm like, no. Last year, people get confused like the E3 thing. Two things happened during the E3 thing when people thought it was going to be unveiled. One, Takahashi Machizuki mentioned that developers were pushing Nintendo to unveil the system. Sure, that could be true. Doesn't mean Nintendo's listening to him.
No.
Yep.
They just wanted it out because they want to make their games for that. So if Nintendo unveils it, then it's got to be coming out soon, which means they can really focus on games for it. Without knowing when it's coming out, it's really hard to know how much development resources you should put into it. And then, two, what really got people like really mad was Nate the Hate said the unveiling was imminent. Now, yes,
I remember that.
Yes.
I
Listen,
remember
2 minutes later, he took it back. But nobody cared because he already put it out there. And it was already captured, and the whole internet was talking about it because he's a reliable insider. And he's like, oh, wait. Well, no, it's not gotten shit. It's like he didn't realize. It's like he didn't realize what he did until it was like, oh, shit. Little late now. Can't take it back now. Oh, shit. I'm trying to take it back. It's not, guys, just to be clear, I don't know if it's actually, that doesn't matter. You said it.
He said eminent.
It's like that's a very specific phrasing, and yeah,
People say, oh wait, that means right now.
It just means you talked to a developer that wanted it out right away and thought Nintendo might unveil it at E3 or before E3. Like it was a thought process of a developer, but it was not something verifiable through Nintendo. And he knew it when he said it. It was just a bad terminology.
Choice of words, I mean,
it was a poor choice of words, and he tried to take it back. But it's once you say something, you really can't take it back. I mean, Jeff Grubb knew. Jeff Grubb knew before the Direct happened that there was a high chance the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD were not going to be in the event. But he wrote it out because he already said it, and he knows like once you say it, you can't just like take it back. Like you just got to take your punishment like a man. Like, I'm not going to take it back. Sorry. Like, it's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, then okay. Like, sorry. I mean, he apologized. I don't know what more you expect of him besides copying up to his mistake and explaining how it happened. And some people always view that as like, oh, it's just an excuse. I mean, sure, it is an excuse, but it's also the truth. An excuse, two things can be true. There can be an excuse for being wrong, but that excuse is actually the truth. Believe it or not, things being an excuse doesn't make it not real. You know what I mean? But people always dismiss things like, oh, it's an excuse. I'm like, well, yeah, no matter what he says to explain how it happened, it's going to sound like an excuse.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that's not the truth of what happened. Now, it doesn't excuse him, of not verifying. The whole him not verifying thing. That's what people are really mad about. Is he actually has contacts at Nintendo and could have verified the information and he didn't do it. That's naughty. That gets him on the naughty list this year with Santa. On the naughty list. That's a boo. I don't have a boo button. Do you have a boo button? I don't have a boo button.
Boo.
I can't boo. I can do this.
I have this one.
Record stop. Are you still just rocking all the defaults?
Yeah.
Remember,
Yeah, you have.
remember, he hasn't touched any settings since he opened
He
it.
literally has one of the best audio pieces of equipment in the world, and all he's done since he opened the box is plug his microphone and headset in. He hasn't messed with any. Have you even touched a slider yet?
No, I haven't touched anything yet. I haven't done anything yet at all.
You
dude,
hit
at all.
power.
I
You
just
hit
turned it on
the
and
red
off,
button.
recording, that's it.
Yeah, you hit the power button. Have you ever hit the
power
record button? That's something.
No, because I don't have an SD card in it. So
Speaking of SD cards, when are you getting yours?
Yeah, I know. No.
No?
So I'm trying to
Oh.
pass it by Yulia to let me buy a 1
Okay.
terabyte to upgrade my Switch and then take the Switch one and put it in here. So I'm trying to be like,
I did
let's
buy,
be smart here. I need
that
one anyways,
M2
and I also
for
need more storage on my Switch. So how about I just buy the 1 terabyte, which is of course like $150, and
Right,
then
right,
I
right.
just
There you
conveniently
go.
have one.
There you go.
Yeah. That's trying to slip that logic into the thought process. Not so sure she's gonna buy it, but I'm trying because I can get away with just a 32 gigabyte one for like $5. But,
No, you didn't say- no, 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 you can only get away with terabyte.
But the 1 terabyte would be nice because my Switch is full.
You can only get away with terabyte. I don't know what you're talking
wait,
about.
so wait, for your Roadcaster?
Yeah, no, okay. So my Rodecaster, I want a micro SD card for it for the podcast, so I can direct record audio instead of ripping it out of the video. But the thing is, I don't have an extra one. The only one I have
you
access to right now is in my Switch. That's a 512. The thing is, that it's full, and I'm not going to take it onto my Switch because then I can't play most of my library. So then I have to buy another one. But I'm like, if I have to buy another one, why don't I buy the one I want for my Switch that allows me to put more games on it? And then I take my 512, and it's way too big. It's way bigger than I need it to be. But then I put that one on the road, and that's what I use.
That's smart. Yeah.
As for Josh, by the way, Josh, I don't know if you've ever been married before, but the whole purchasing decisions need to be approved
Yes.
across the board. You
I mean-
can't just buy
Exactly.
things.
Yep.
When you are in a serious relationship, have children, are married, are together, have combined bills, you
Yes.
don't just get to buy. I
As long-
can't
I mean-
even buy a video game without
There
permission.
are some situations where they do have their separate bank accounts and they keep all their financials separate.
Yeah, we have our separate
But,
bank accounts only because the YouTube money has to be taxed.
Yep.
But she knows what it is. She has
But-
access to it. She has a card to access it. Same with the bank. Actually, the bank she's actually at a joint bank at my one bank with me, and that's where her paychecks go. We share all our money. We share everything. But purchases have to go by. Like she went out and bought some clothes for the kids today. She had to ask me if it's in the budget and if it's okay. That's the way relationships work. When you're in that serious of relationship, yes, we have to let each other because we have to check with each other that it's actually affordable in the budget, that we can
Well, I mean,
justify it.
You both just can't go out and spend the
We
money
can't
and
just
all
go
of a sudden
spend everything we want. Next thing you know, so the cell phone bills due. Hey, why's the cell phone bill not working? Well, I bought this $150 thing, and then I went to your bank, and I'm like, oh, she spent all her money on makeup, and now we're screwed.
right.
So that's how relationships work. You share things. Well, that's how this level of relationship.
There's a thing that's going to explain it all. This thing explains it all. Happy wife, happy life.
I can tell you that in this house. That's definitely true. She's in a good mood. Everything's great. She's in a bad mood. Woo! Navigate the minefield.
I'm just gonna sit over here and shut my mouth.
Yeah, Eric, you can't talk on
Yeah.
this.
Well, no. Just being here, I'm just gonna sit over here and shut my mouth and let you dig your own damn hole.
I'm not though. She would
No, I
just
know.
be. She would
Yeah.
literally be in the chat. He's right. Yep.
No,
So
no,
what
no,
is
yeah.
it you're trying to buy now? That
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
what, honey, $150 micro. What do you need it for? Well, I mean, I don't. It's a want, but I also need one for this, but I don't need one that big. But my Switch is full. You understand? I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing, and no.
Yeah, right.
It might be an and yes, but right now, and no. because we have bills we got to pay.
Yeah.
And we got to buy pictures for the kids and other stuff. But eventually, I'm just saying eventually, when the extra money's there.
Yeah. Why
That should be like, but why? But I want to go to the
financial
casino that
fee?
day instead.
Yeah.
Well, if you win, can I buy it? If you come ahead, can I buy it? Got to compromise. Fine, you go, but if you win, I get it.
Yeah. That's funny. Josh was joshing you.
That's funny. So yeah, people talking about the exchange rates and the yen changing, and I've been married. It's the way it is. You got to compromise. And by the way, I can't complain. For anyone being like, "Oh, you mean you need permission? You have to complain?" Okay, well, she bought this with her tax return. Bought me a $3,000 plus TV. Why?
The heck?
Literally for this show. What you're watching right now is the only thing this thing is technically for.
No, that's love, dude. That's love.
That's it. See this Rodecaster? Oh, you guys can't really see it. You guys see the edge of it up here. The Rodecaster Pro 2. I mean, it's a $700 device. I absolutely do not need a $700 audio interface.
It's gonna make life easier.
Absolutely, dude. This is not a requirement to do what I do. These $450 each microphones here are absolutely not needed for this show. This $1,800 camera is not needed for this show. None of this is needed. But it sure as heck makes it easier. And that's why she said it's not a need, but would it make your life easier? Well, yeah. All right, let's do it.
It's an investment.
Yeah, and she knows it's an investment. And I pay all the big bills, and now all those bills are paid with the YouTube check. So she's like, hey, what am I supposed to say? No, you're actually making money doing what you're doing. So what am I supposed to say? No? Like, well, yeah, you can say no. Yeah, but it's your dream. But it's okay. You can say no. You also have a dream of us being, multi-billionaires. If I keep spending all the money, it's not really gonna happen.
Hey, you never know. You never know.
Yeah, maybe
you can blow. You can really blow up on YouTube, and
Yeah.
you could.
I honestly, I think one thing that will make me not blow up on YouTube is just myself. I just say a lot of dumbass things sometimes.
Hey, maybe that could be the reason why you do blow up on YouTube. Check out this idiot.
Something stupid. Something
People
stupid.
blow
I
up for
say.
different reasons. People blow up for different reasons.
Yeah.
You never know which one is yours. So
It's gonna be look at this dumbass.
Yep. I'm gonna be people have already tried comparing me before to like DSP or something, and I'm like, oh, so I'm the new DSP suddenly. Cool. I don't know what dumbass thing I said now to get that comparison, but let's keep
not?
it going. People have called me a mini Review Tech USA, which is funny because we're basically the same age. He can basically be my brother.
he looks older though.
I know he looks older. He has not aged as gracefully as I have. I take pride in that, by the way.
Wait, he's in his 30s?
I might be a fat bastard, but I have
So
aged
he's younger
pretty
than me?
gracefully. I don't know if he's. Let me remember his exact age. I think he's 40.
Well, I'm that's my age too. So
Yeah, I know,
I guess
I know.
I age better than him.
Dude, you age better than me, so that means you age. I'm pretty sure that if you never said your age, everyone in the chat would guess you're younger than me.
Yeah, man. I sadly left the 30s last year. It took me 6 months to get over it.
I love how Natsu too, who does a lot of audio work, is like, yes, you needed the audio equipment.
Yeah, right.
You always need audio equipment. I'm like,
According to famous birthdays, it's July 15th, 1981. So 41.
Ooh.
yeah, so he'd be 40.
Richard.
Yep, Rich. From
Rich,
GFP.
yeah.
So he's a year older than
My
you.
birthday's on the 12th, so October 12th. Oh crap, that's next month.
Yeah, dude. I'm feeling
What
it too.
the heck?
Yeah, a
What do I
couple
got?
October birthdays on the cast right now.
I'm still getting over turning 40. What the heck am I doing turning 41?
I'm under 2 weeks.
Man,
I'm gonna cross the last threshold of actually
what day is it?
opening.
October 6th?
Third.
Knew
Yeah.
it was divisible by 3. It's like I tell myself, I know it's divisible by 3 because it is 3.
It is 3. Yeah. No. No.
Feel bad
It's
that I didn't
it's
know
the
that.
last unlockable thing I think for age wise. I can now run for president. Ooh, no, I'm not going to, but theoretically could.
That's what I
theoretically
blow up
could.
for. I'm gonna try to run for president. That's it. That's how I blow
There you go.
up.
There you go.
I'm going to try to run for president of the United States. No political experience. We've already proven you don't need that to become president. So,
No, you need popularity.
need popularity. Am I popular enough? Probably not.
Dude, I mean, anybody can run for president. That's a scary thing. That's a scary sight, man. Anybody can run for president, and
Apparently, Kit and Krista are dropping an interview with Reggie tomorrow on their channel,
Interesting.
which isn't surprising. They're all former Nintendo employees.
I mean,
and
yeah.
Kit and Krista worked for Reggie. That's not that surprising.
yeah.
What's interesting is that Kit and Krista have actually like said some negative things about Nintendo, and so has Reggie.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be really
They're
interesting.
both on the other side. They're both on the other side of the fence, so they can,
Say whatever they want.
have tea, bash Nintendo together.
I was gonna say, is this gonna just be like from the top rope, just the people's elbow,
No,
just
Kit
laying it to
Kit
Nintendo?
and Krista are super family friendly with their content, so I think that if there's any negative things said about Nintendo, it'll be like super light. It'll be like, oh, we just disagreed with like this one decision they made one time. Okay, I don't know that they're gonna go into. It would be nice to see Kit and Krista drill him on bigger topics. I just don't think they're going to. They all work for the same company. They're gonna keep
I
it
think
light.
they're gonna tell mostly about the book. That's it.
Yeah. The book is gonna be like half the show. Half the interview is gonna be the book, for sure.
Yeah.
Like anytime he's been in interviews, I think in like the last year, it's always just been about the book. But I think because it's Kit and Krista, there'll be a little bit more than the book. But I just, like maybe they'll ask him about what his thoughts were on Nintendo Minute. Maybe he was a key part in making Nintendo Minute happen or something, or approving it, stuff like that. But I don't really know. I mean, I'll check it out because hey, you know what? At the end of the day, it's not like I hate Reggie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the Reginator, man. How can you hate Reggie?
Originator.
Like it's cool. I'm fine. I miss him. I miss that era of Nintendo when the presidents were like the face of the company. It was sweet, dude. That's how we ended up with the puppets at E3, man. Sad bringing that one up though, because that's the year that Iwata died. But still, man, remember when they all put their fists in the middle? It was what was it? Miyamoto, Iwata, and Reggie. And they put their fists in the middle outside of E3, and they shared that picture on social media. And they said it's the Triforce of Nintendo.
Nice.
That was sweet, man. Like those were the days. It was Iwata's idea to be a very public, facing person for marketing reasons, and it worked really well for the era that they did that during, which was basically the Wii. So
Yeah.
it was very good for that era. They start bad mouthing Nintendo Stone Cold Steve Austin style. That'd be hilarious. So would Nate run as part? I would never run for president, by the way. I can't handle that kind of responsibility. Everyone that I ever see take over the presidency looks exactly like 20 years older when they get out.
Oh God, right.
Yeah.
The amount of pressure and stress and like, oh man, think about the things you could find out. You could find out if aliens existed. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I can look at classified documents that I can never ever talk about with another human the rest of my. I don't know that I want to know something I'm never ever 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 allowed to talk about the rest of my life. Oh, in the back of my mind, I know this really cool thing. By the way, we have nanobots. We have nanobots that can make your brain 50 IQ points smarter, but you can't know about it because it's classified. So I can't talk about it. Damn it. Hi.
For all you know, guys, for all you know, I could be an alien right now.
You could be.
I mean, that's why you look younger than me. I want to be honest,
Never know.
but until you told me your age, I thought legitimately you were like 28.
28. That's a good problem, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's a good problem. That's a good problem.
That's what I'm going to be by from now on.
I mean, it's not as bad as Andre's restart, okay? Because he's like 30, and I literally thought he just came out of high school.
Right.
Like, he looks so young. I'm like, have you even aged? She's like, dude, I was looking at my senior yearbook the other day. I literally look exactly the same. I'm like, fuck. God damn it.
Good problem to have.
Damn it. I wish I had that problem. Oh, yeah, I just look like my senior photo. That's great. But yeah, guys, is there anything else we want to say about Switch Pro before we end it? Because I really don't think this is it.
I
don't think we're going to be talking about it the rest of this year.
I want it.
In an official capacity. Mike's going to bring it up every podcast because he does bring it up every podcast. But
okay, I'm not going to bring it up. This is the last thing we're going to say about it in this podcast. But it's going to be a prediction.
Okay.
I predict that.
By the way, hold on. Before you say it, I want to note Mike's track record on predictions is not exactly very good.
No, right now it's one out of 100. I got Pikmin 4. That's it. Pikmin
Yeah,
4.
got Pikmin for 1 out of 100. There you go. So there's like a 1% chance that what he's about to say is happening. Let's go.
Listen, I got Pikmin 4 and Breath of the Wild 2, but it's because everybody was talking about Breath of the Wild. So
Yeah,
that
I was
doesn't
saying,
count.
you can't take credit for that one. That was Jeff Grubb.
Yeah, I'm gonna take credit. I take credit for Pikmin 4. That was mine. Pikmin. Anyway, so I predict we are going to get an announcement in March with a release date in May. Announcement in March, release date in May. I don't know if it's gonna be the Switch Pro. I don't know if it's gonna be next gen. I know it's gonna be a new console with the DLSS thingy and everything that's been mentioned when it comes to in.
I love how his
March
prediction.
is the magic month.
I love how
first week of March.
your prediction is basically the consensus of everyone talking about Switch Pro.
Really? Well, they all got it from me then because I'm stating it right here. I'm the source for March.
I'm the source because I said
me.
so.
It's like the
This is
consensus.
not Mario. This is Mike.
They're literally dropping the consensus dates, and it's like, yes, I'm original.
Listen. Everything that comes out of my mouth is original.
I say new hardware comes out next holiday if
Original
it
for
comes
you.
out at all next year. Next holiday if it comes out at all.
No, it's coming out next year.
They'll announce it. I don't even know. I mean, if they want to make a really big deal out of it, they'll announce it at E3.
March
But otherwise, they'll wait.
March is the month.
February Direct. No.
I mean, they haven't ever done it in a direct, but you know what? There's a lot of things they've never done, and then they do it. You know, we used to get release dates of games only in directs, and then they started putting them on Twitter. So, I mean, you never know what Nintendo's going to do. For all we know,
I am the source of every rumor ever told. The source of the rumor for the Nintendo Switch Pro came out of these lips. They were mine. I said it. It was. Everything I say is. If I don't say it, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
for those listening to the audio version, that was Baby
boy.
Mike Odyssey over there.
Yeesh.
Or Yzma Mike Odyssey, if you
Yzma.
prefer.
Yeah.
Whatever. I could have argued back as Yzma, but I feel like it's weird because then it's like confirmation we have the exact same equipment. Although we do use different
everybody knows.
microphones. He uses the Shure
Yeah, we got it a week apart.
SM7B.
We got it a week apart. And then he got his 1 week and got it next week.
I got his after he talked to me about it and regretted that he had the old version. And I'm sitting with the new version.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait, your new version does what? Oh, I can't wait to get it. Then he gets it and does nothing.
It doesn't do it.
Does nothing. Plugs the headphones and microphone in. Touches nothing.
I forgot what I wanted it for. Oh, yeah, I wanted it for the voice change.
Like, wait, you just wait,
for the voice
you want it
changer?
for the voice changer? Mike,
That's
you know
true.
the voice
This
changer is
voice
like
changer.
free. You can get
I'm happy with having to do this.
Hey, what's going on, man? It's a Dale Bland Pale.
But
Yeah,
but
I'm happy
Mike,
with that.
Mike, you could have spent like $10 and used voice mod and have voice changers.
It's not authentic. How's it not? Road.
Voice
Casting
mod.
voice changer.
Nothing's authentic on voice modding.
Yeah, you're
Hey,
right.
I just future proved myself here with this.
I mean, you
device.
did. You're not wrong.
But future proof in what way? Because all you do now is just plug it in and don't do anything. Like, Mike,
press the
Mike,
power
did you
button,
even
forget
did
that.
you
I
even set the
press
hold
the
on,
power button.
Mike,
Press the power button.
Mike.
I wait for it
Mike,
to
please
load.
tell me. Please tell
I
me.
put up the
Please tell
volume
me.
knob just a little bit, and when I'm done, I mute it.
Please
And
tell
at
me,
the
Mike.
end, I press the power button again.
Mike.
That's a lot of work, dude.
Mike,
It is.
Mike, please tell me that you at least set it to the Shure SM7B profile.
I did, yeah. I did that. I pushed the button, I hold it until I couldn't no more, and then it came up there, and there's this whole bunch of little
He has
mics
no
there.
idea what he's doing.
Yeah.
He figured it out
I-
by
I-
complete accident.
But I actually did turn off the processing because it made my mic sound dumb. Yeah.
It made Mike sound dumb.
I mean, it prevents peaking, but I messed with the processor too, to be completely clear. But I changed settings on it so it would be more natural. because I was having a little bit of issues with how it handled these mics. But to be fair, I mean, it's the Rodecaster. It's meant to use the Rode microphones, which we're not using.
Yeah.
But it is kind of hilarious. Like, there's so many.
Is that
Like
a
Mike,
Rode?
like as an
What
example,
is it?
Mike. Let me tell you something.
Hey, buddy, how you doing? Welcome to the Nintendo Prime Podcast.
That voice is not come with it. I made that.
No, what voice? This one?
This voice right here, buddy.
I don't even know if you can hear the voice changer. I don't think you can. I don't think you can hear my voice. You can't hear when I do voice changing, can you?
I can hear it. Go ahead.
Yeah, how's it going? This voice right here. I made this.
And I made it right on the Rodecaster.
Really?
Yes, you can make
made this one.
all. You can do all. Yeah, and so you can do a whole bunch of them. You can create them right on the Rodecaster.
Yeah, I'm just too lazy for that.
Dude, we had voice mod on Xbox Live in 2000. Yeah, it's not a new thing. Well, what's funny is for how long voice modification applications have been around,
Yeah.
how few
Yeah.
live streamers actually use it. I've watched a ton of different live streamers, and they like never do voice mods.
Dude, the new update is gonna be awesome for the Rodecaster.
I didn't look
You know
at it.
all these extra channels. They're gonna add more extra channels. You know how you click the arrow?
Yeah.
They're gonna add at least 4 more extra channels, right? And
Holy
then
crap! I'm already
you'll be able to-
using.
what?
I'm using 8 of the 9 available or 10 available channels right now.
Yeah. I have eight. The original 8, and I have an empty 8. But then you'll be able to add more. Plus, they'll turn it into a what do you call that? Steam Deck thingy.
What? How does it become a Steam Deck? Now we're
Play
playing.
games
Now
on
we're
it?
playing games on it.
Sweet.
Not a Stream Deck, not a Steam Deck.
That's
Yo,
Steam Deck.
this
Yeah.
Why do
This
they
thing.
sound so familiar, dude?
this thing right
Yeah,
here. I
Stream
have
Deck.
one of those. I have the XL right here. Yeah, I use that. But you can
Yeah,
already.
I got the- I got the
But
small one.
you can already do that. Like right now, you can do that. There's an app you download that partners with this, and then you can modify all the sound pads to do anything the Stream Deck does. Like you can already do
Can't
that.
put up signs onto the stream.
Signs?
Yeah, like subscribe and all that stuff.
Yeah, you can. There's nothing the Stream Deck does that these pads can't do. But
did
you
I
have
get
you haven't
that?
messed
I
with
heard
it
that.
yet. You haven't messed with it yet. That's the thing. You left it at default.
Yeah, it is actually a default. It's like from
The only thing I will say right
I
now.
actually have the box right there on the floor.
The only thing I will say right now, and maybe this is what the update's going to do. So while you could do everything with the Stream Deck on the pads, one reason why I still like the Stream Deck is because it has the visual things on it. So if I forget what a button does, it lets me know, and it can't do that because these are just pads.
Yeah,
But
they don't have LED lights there.
yeah, like it has graphics up here that on the screen that kind of tell you. But then you always got to like stare at it and figure it out. Whereas over here, I can just kind of glance and go, "Oh, this is the air horn." Now there's an air horn on
You
here.
can change the colors to match though. You can actually change the colors.
Yeah. But then you got to
map
memorize colors. You got I don't have to do that. I can look over here and it just says air horn. Versus over here, I have to go like this and go, okay, where's the air horn? Oh, it's this yellow button up here. No, what I like is it's 2 different air horns. So now I got 2 of them. But you know what I like the big thing for me is when you're setting this up, and I want it to change scenes. People are hearing some behind the scenes stuff right now. Is to do that with the Rodecaster. It can be done, but you have to do some custom coding, and you don't have to do that with the Stream Deck. So maybe the update is just adding support for more things natively. So then you don't have to do the custom work to make it work.
The app thing, I get it. I see.
Yeah,
That's
like
why
what
I
makes
like
what makes the Stream Deck so good is it's compatible with everything involving streaming. It's just plugged right in, and you can download additional plugins. So it's literally just drag and drop. And that's not the way that this works. Besides, this works this way with sound files. I mean, that's what it is. It's a sound pad. So yes, like the beluga whale thing I do, this thing. That was literally just a drag and drop music file. But that's because the soundboard is designed, these pads are designed for that. You can do all the other stuff. It's just, But I still personally, I'll probably never not use the Stream Deck because it's just so convenient. Like as an example, when I hit the music folder on here, I got like 30 songs right there. I don't have to go through all these pages of stuff on here to find all the music. It's all right there, and it's all labeled. Like, oh, what's this one? Oh, well, I got to memorize that this red button in the upper right corner on page yellow. That's Minecraft Wet Hands. Or I could just have it say Minecraft Wet Hands. I don't have to memorize, like, colors and pages and stuff. But yeah,
I think
it's
in Minecraft, there's no hands in Minecraft.
basically what I'm saying is I think the Stream Deck combined with this Rodecaster is like a really amazing combo. It really is. To simplify the setup, you can do everything with the Rodecaster, but I don't think the Rodecaster excels at what the Stream Deck does besides the voice changing and just sound files in general and reverb and stuff like that. Like, yeah, this does it better because this does the processing straight through the hardware.
Yeah.
So like,
But in all honesty, the reason why I got my Rodecaster is because it's an interface and a mixer in one. Because I used to have for my music recording, I used to have my separate interface, and I used the Apple G1 for an interface, and then I had my separate mixer. I used the Rodecaster one. This has an even more powerful interface. That's compatible with the programs that I use to record audio.
Yep.
And it processes the audio a lot better.
Yep.
So when I send the audio to my engineer, you can mix it. It's just best quality, like amazing.
Yep.
So that's basically the reason why I got it.
Yeah.
Besides the voice changing.
I got it because it simplified things for me. So
Yeah.
we had the Scarlett Focusrite. I think we were using the 4i4. We also have the 2i2. And it's great. It's a great audio interface, perfect for two mics. But you're only really managing your two mics. And even then, it's not perfect. You want to add post-processing effects. You're using a separate application for it. You're not doing it locally on the Focusrite. And other things like, hey, it's supposed to have loopback audio so we can hear each other and also hear audio from the computer. So like you coming through Discord, so we should be able to hear it. Never really worked, and it used a separate application for it because it wasn't localized. So it was all funky. In addition to that, what I like about this is really the mixing quality, because I get to mix your voice coming in separately from the audio coming in from the desktop, separately from the audio coming in from this laptop here, which I can have feed into it, separately from the audio from each of our microphones, separately from the audio from Streamlabs. Everything is separated into its own audio channels, and I can mix it and fix it on the fly. And I couldn't do that before. It was always managed through multiple software applications, and I don't like that. And this just simplified it. And that's why when Yuli's like, do you need it? No. Does it make my life easier? Yes. Audience, you watch my live streams, you watch the podcast. How many times before the Rodecaster have we had audio issues like every episode, and we're spending like 30 minutes trying to sort it out because we can't figure out which piece in the chain is not working.
Right.
Because there was a chain of
random
applications.
stupid shit happening, but not anywhere near as often.
Yeah, like right now, the only random thing now is for some reason the Pro 2 chat going out to Mike doesn't sound good. There's something going on with it, and I need to do a couple of things. One, I need to test it. I'm going to do an audio recording straight from it just to see what's going on. Plus, I need to do a local recording on here from it just to see. I want to make sure that there's nothing wrong with the Rodecaster. If my Rodecaster has a problem, it's under warranty. So I want to make sure I get that
also
taken care of.
probably restart the PC too.
Well, yeah, but the PC's been restarted before. But then,
True.
we couldn't even get it to work, and now it's working. But now it's garbled. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
But there's something going on, and I don't know what that is. It could just be Discord.
Did Windows change a setting behind the scenes?
Discord could be the whole problem.
Yeah.
Maybe Windows 11 is the whole problem. I have no idea.
Yeah.
So there's still an issue I have to sort out. But the bottom line is, you know how easy it was? Oh, so the chat's not working? Okay. Well, here. Let me just switch to a different channel. Oh, look, this channel works just fine. Like, that's how simple. I have so many channels I can send my audio through. It's like, oh, well, the one I want to work that gives me a bonus feature that I don't need, which, guys, the bonus feature is that our guests and me and Eric can talk to each other while the intro is rolling. So right now, the way it's set up at the moment, when we're playing the intro music, Mike can talk to us and we can hear him, but we can't talk back. If we use the Pro chat option that was given him gobbledygook, it won't affect you guys, but it would affect his ability to hear us. But if it was working properly, and it was working properly before, we could chit chat about the show before the show begins. Like, hey, we're gonna kick off the show like this. Is there anything specific you want to add to the doc? Is there it helps organize things in that 10 minutes that now we can't do. So I need to get that sorted out. The fact that I got it working again today is already a good step. But now there's a garbling, peaking issue that I don't know what's going on, and I don't know if it's coming from the Rodecaster or if it's Discord or somewhere in between. Is it a cable? Do I need to replace the cable? Did I trip on a cable? Is it not plugged in all the way? There's some stuff I got to sort out there. So it's kind of like you guys saw with like my laptop. Sometimes when I'm taking calls during a podcast from you guys, sometimes I can talk to you guys through this mic. Sometimes I have to talk through the laptop mics because there's a little finicky issue with the Bluetooth. But that's also because I'm using a Bluetooth mouse at the same time. So I think it's the laptop that really only would like me to use one Bluetooth item at once instead of two. But it's whatever. Point is that those issues are so minor
compared to some of the
what
other
I
shit
dealt
that
with
we had
before.
to do. Yeah.
Like, oh no, the audio's not working. We sound like Garbly-Gook to Mike. All right, well, let me switch to main chat to, oh look, we sound fine, and
Yeah,
we
right.
just can't do the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before it was, we have no sound. What changed? Absolutely nothing. Reboot everything. Shit, we still don't have sound. Check all the cables in
Natsu-
between like 8 different things. It's like, oh my god, it
Natsu
was
said
so
Gremlins. Like
crazy.
Natsu knows
I mean,
all about
absolutely,
the audio.
yeah.
But here's the thing.
Gremlins, for
but,
sure,
but like that's what I'm saying. Like our audio issues now are so minuscule. Like I can't even complain.
You have to restart 2 things versus
I can't.
like
I
8.
can't even complain. So yeah, if you guys, but I really do hope, in the end, outside of this simplifying everything, my goal, looking at this, whether you listen to the audio version, video version, whatever, is that one, you're getting really good quality audio. Like we hope, because I'm not on the other end of this. I'm hearing everything local. I'm not on the other end of the stream. I'm not on the other end. I don't go back and listen through the podcast very often. Our hope is that one, these microphones make a difference to your ears and, actually make our voices sound quite pleasant. Hopefully more pleasant than our former setup used to do. 2, that things are more consistent. The audio levels are much better because I can hear us talk in the headphones and adjust on the fly. Like if Eric sounds a little low to me, cool. I can go adjust that compared to my own voice. Mike sounds a little low to me. I can adjust him too. So that's cool. So I hope the audio sounds a lot more level to you guys. It gets a bit more complicated when we have more guests on the screen because I can only adjust the volume of Discord. Like, that's it. So it'd be the volume for everyone. But we do an audio test when we have multiple people on beforehand to be like, hey, let's get you two at the same level, and then I can adjust it over here. So we try to do that. Like when Jake's on next week, the first thing we do is, hey, let's try to get Mike and Jake sounding the same level. And then that's all I need. I can adjust everything else over here as long as they're the same. They don't have to be the same with us. So like I hope that the balance comes through, the quality of the show comes through. I hope that like when we do things like buy this TV, it's crazy, it's stupid, it's different.
I still love how long it took us to realize that all you need to do is tilt it forward just a tiny bit, and that took away the glare at the top.
Oh yeah, because even though it's got anti-glare, it's still studio
Well, I mean,
lights.
those are bright ass lights.
Maybe not bright enough.
Yeah.
They can get brighter.
Yes.
But like they were actually set at this level because of the TV. But now we probably should have them. We probably should have them brighter because even when I'm looking around, it is a little bit dim, and that's part. Like right now, the scene you guys are seeing is roughly what the lighting actually is here. We should probably turn them up. That's probably something that we should adjust for next week. But yeah, like everything we do is about creating a higher quality show for you guys. Like it's small, minor stuff we don't need, but we want it to be good for you. Like this TV, no one needs a $3,000 TV for a show. Why can't we all just get in a Discord call and just have our, put a little layout around it? We could. A lot of podcasts do that. A lot of those podcasts are way the hell bigger than us.
Yeah.
Spawncast is literally a giant Discord call. Slapped on a screen with a little bit of banner. And that's it. And it's way bigger than us. But I'm not one that wants to be like everybody else. I want to do it my way. And my way is practical sets. My way is giant mic. The only thing that I need to improve in the future is when we have 2 guests on, how do I properly manage that? Because it doesn't look quite as good. So how do I manage that?
I'm not giant.
Well, I mean, to be honest,
Wait,
The
hold on.
way the way the size is right now, you're probably only a little bit bigger than you would be in real life if you were actually just sitting right here.
Yeah,
The head
probably.
is you, though.
Yeah. You're but I'm saying like scale wise, really, it's just gotta come down like this much, and I think it would be real life scale. But I mean,
Not that big, Nate. I am not that big.
to be fair, if you just zoomed out on your camera a smidge, it would also fix the problem. So he zooms in. I knew he was gonna zoom in.
Yeah.
So he goes the other way.
Oh yeah, yeah. There you go. There,
Yeah,
extra
yeah,
big.
yeah,
hold
yeah.
on.
Now we got to be
Hold on.
bigger than Eric and Nate's
You
heads
better
combined.
hold on. Giant Mike. Tiny Eric.
The corner Eric. He's just literally. I'm surprised he didn't go all the way in,
There
so
you
we
go.
saw the nose hairs.
There you go. Giant Mike.
Jeez. Oh my god!
The
All right, guys.
audio listeners are going, what the
Yeah,
fudge
what's
is going
happening?
on
Yeah,
here?
this is why you guys should listen to. Obviously, go watch our video version if you're interested in some of the extra shenanigans. But I do hope that you guys have a good rest of your day, good rest of your evening, workout, whatever the hell you're doing. I really hope you enjoy. I hope it's been an enjoyable experience, a wild ride from mobile phone games to Switch
Yeah.
Pro. I
Yeah.
almost don't even want to say it because I'm afraid people get mad at me. But you know what? It's literally in the name of the thing. So if you don't like the name of the thing, then you probably shouldn't have clicked on the thing
The thing.
to come hear a conversation about the thing that you don't want to hear about.
Right.
Like I saw D-Dub in the chat once, like Switch Pro isn't real. It's like, okay, that's cool. Did you have to click on
Well,
the
it's not
thing
real
just to
yet.
tell us?
It's not real yet.
It's fine. It's fine if you don't think it's real. It's cool. I don't know if it's real either. So like, I'm just throwing it out there. We don't know what this thing is. So you guys have a good rest of your night. I am Nintendo Prime. Go ahead and subscribe to the Nintendo Prime podcast channel or the Nintendo Prime channel, or follow Ninty Nity Prime over on Twitter. You can follow Emo8790 over on Twitter as well. He will read if you tweet at him. He probably won't respond
probably
unless
not.
you really make him laugh hard.
Yeah. And you might get an LOL.
Then you might get an LOL out of him. But he will read it.
I will.
He will get the notification. He will check it out.
Yeah.
He'll be like, wait a second. So what's
Yeah.
tweeting at me? Oh, it's Corey again.
That's Corey again. 90% of my
You guys
my
can go
Twitter
follow
things.
Mike Odyssey. It's pretty much Mike Odyssey everywhere. You will find him on YouTube
On
and
Instagram and Twitter is Mike Odyssey YT.
yeah,
Oh, nice.
and YT. Oh yeah,
I have
Twitch is
some other person has Mike Odyssey from 2002. They're not using it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get it, but
so. I mean, so you mean is you got to throw some of that Apple money around and buy the rights?
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
But no.
I am telling you.
But no, yeah, you guys have a good rest of your night. I hope you had a really good show, and I hope to see you guys all next week, same time, roughly about 8 p.m. Central, every single Wednesday. I will be back live streaming on this channel tomorrow. It's just going to be a talk show. You guys can call in and talk about whatever the topics are, and we have a good old time as we round out our week. There will be another live stream on Friday. It's a much shorter stream. It's usually about an hour that we do on the main channel, mostly to remind people that we do stream over here, and so I could chit chat with some of the people that maybe aren't subbed over here. You know, it's kind of a good way to remind people that, hey, I do more than a thing.
More than a thing.
More than a thing.
than a
I'm
thing.
not just the Prime 5. I do other things. You should go check
More
out
than
those
a
other
thing.
things.
More than a thing.
If you
Hey,
would
can I
like
say
to...
one more thing
What?
quick. At the right now, tomorrow I'm meeting with Henry McIntyre, the voice of Noah from Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So if you are a big fan of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, you want to ask a question and have it be aired on the podcast, then let me know tonight. There's a post on the community section right below the advertisement. You can put your question there, and all of the questions that I'm going to be asking are going to be from there. So if you want your question to be asked to the voice actor of Noah from the game, then go ahead. Tonight's the last chance you're going to get to ask that question.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you had a lovely evening, and we'll catch you on the same show next week.
Later.
Later.